写真家の菅原貴則です。小さい頃から生き物や自然が好きでした。特に野鳥には強く心を惹かれていて、その気持ちは大人になった今でも続いています。そんな鳥たちの世界を写真を通して多くの人に知ってもらいたいと思い、写真家になりました。今回新しいレンズを手にしてみて、見た目以上に軽いなという印象です。この手触りの上質感というか、例えばピントリングの滑らかさだったり、コーティングのおかげでレンズが汚れにくいとか、細かいところ非常に配慮されているなというのを感じるのがこの150-400かなと思います。鳥の体の例えば目元やくちばし、羽の造形なんかがこれくらいシャープに映ってくれると後から拡大して見ることができて楽しいですね。オートフォーカスの動きが速いということが非常に大事だと思いますし、それが叶ったレンズだと思います。基本的には顔にピントを合わせたいと思っています。EM1X のバージョン 2.0 に入る鳥認識 AF には僕も期待を寄せています。出会えた鳥をまずは双眼鏡で見るんですけども、そこから撮れると思った時にさっと切り替えられると。この時間の短さ、このスムーズさっていうのが手持ちで撮影するメリットだと思います。それが 1000mm とかの超望遠で叶うのは非常に驚くべきことだと思います。結構な雨の中でも使ってみたりしたんですけど、もちろん防塵防滴で雨を気にしなくていいですし、雨で濡れたからといってリングの操作が悪くなるとか、そういうこともなかったです。内蔵テレコンを使うのが今回初めてだったのですが、ファインダーを除いたまま切り替えができるのは非常に便利だと感じました。例えば鳥を追っている時にあと少しだけ大きく撮りたいとか思った時にファインダーから目を離さずに切り替えができる。ピント位置も変化しないと。これを便利と感じました。2倍テレコンバーターを使うと 2000mm 相当になります。リラックスした表情を見るためには少し距離を取った方がいい場合もあります。2000mm 相当あればより離れたところから撮影することができます。小鳥のように飛び立つ動作が非常に速い対象の羽ばたく瞬間を撮るときにプロキャプチャーモードをよく使います。時間を遡ることができるので、飛び立った後にシャッターを押しても飛び立つ瞬間が映っているという面白い機能だと思います。これまでなかなか狙って撮れなかった瞬間を撮れるようになったのは表現の幅を広げていると思います。自分の姿を隠して野鳥を待ち伏せることもあります。そんな状況では自分は動くことができないので、ズームやテレコンバーターが重宝します。世界にはまだまだ僕が見たことない鳥たちがたくさんいます。このレンズを持ってこれからもいろんなところを旅して、1種類でも1羽でも多くの鳥たちに出会いたいと思っています。
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube live. This is Wednesday Coffee with me, Jimmy Cheng. How are you guys? And yes, today is going to be a fun discussion. As you can see, the title is going to be talking about one lens, but not my one lens, about your one lens as well. So it's going to be quite a lot of things we're going to go through because I have well over 100 nominations, so this is going to be interesting. I never expected to be such a popular topic. And even when I post it on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Facebook, there are also other people kind of continuing in putting on their nomination as well. But I can tell you that everybody's got their own preferences, their own usage. So we're going to go through that. Hopefully we can get to the bottom of this. But like I said, there's no right or wrong here. It's solely depending on what your preference is, what kind of photography you use, so you do, and what type of photos you create. That's all I want to say. But before I start, of course, I have to say hello to everybody. And if you don't know me or this channel, my name is Jimmy Cheng. I'm a professional photographer and filmmaker, also an Olympus ambassador. That's why you can see I'm wearing my hat. I'm wearing my kind of, what do you call this? what do you call these things? I don't know, but it's quite nice keeping my neck warm. And so I have a lot of Olympus gear, and this channel is very heavy Olympus based, so you can see a lot of different things. So if you can ask me, so if you want to ask me any question, I don't even know what I'm doing today. And so if you want to ask me any question, you're very welcome. Just pop in the question in the comment section, and then I will try to go through them as much as I can today. So let's say some hello to people as well. I don't want to be rude, of course. So first of all, Corner, hello. Ralph, hi. Good to see you there. Good to see you. Victor, Morgan, Patrick, Trevor, Woolama, Num, and oh, Nat. Hello, Nat. Richard, John, Andrea. Perfect stuff. Oh, the buff. Okay, Trevor actually said the buff. Right, let me just put my shoulder up here back again. Oh, let me just move it over here. So it's a little bit there, just out of the way. This is called a buff, by the way. And this is not the normal buff you buy, because this is actually Olympus. Look, can you see this is the Olympus version? So you can't actually get them from the Olympus, I think in the UK or Europe store. And you can actually get them there. It's actually quite good. I'm becoming quite a fan of these things. And because it's due purpose. You know, like we all have to wear face covering these days. Well, if I go out just wearing this, it's quite easy. I don't have to wear like carrying my mask. All I need to do just do this. There you go. I have a face covering, and I can just go in and out quite safely. That's all right. Ugh, but it's nice. I quite like it. Right, and okay. So, shall we get started? Because obviously there are quite a few nominations. I'm going to try to read them all out, but there are a lot of repetitive ones, obviously, and I can straight away notice 2 or 3 lenses that kept popping up. So I'm going to go through those as well. But before I talk about your one lens setup, and let's talk about my one lens setup. If I have to only to pick one lens, that would be the one that I'm actually using to stream right now. This is the 17mm 1.2 Pro. Right, personally, 35mm equivalent in a full frame or 135 format is my favorite focal length, and because I could literally do anything with this focal length. Right, before I go any further, before you starting to say, nah, don't, because this, like I say, this is my preference. There's no right to wrong here. This is only what I want to do with my photography and what sort of thing I photograph. Like I mentioned, I do a lot of documentary stuff. I do a lot of street photography. I also do a lot of environmental portraits. So the 17mm focal length is really kind of cool for me. While I can get close, but not close enough. So not too close, or I can still, because of 1.2, I can still isolate subject if I really want to. I can shoot low light, and it's really just kind of like a Swiss Army knife for my use. In weddings, I can actually tell you that I will say 60-70% of the shots are done in this 17mm 1.2 Pro. So this is how useful this lens is. So that, to me, if I just got one lens to either for work or travel, I would take this lens. And I do have the 17mm 1.8 as well, and that thing is brilliant. That thing is gorgeous. It's small, it's light, and you know, if obviously now you're asking me to choose one lens, I'm going to go for the 1.2 Pro. But if I'm really going to travel, and I normally would take the 1.8 just because it's really tiny and light, which I'm going to show you a little bit later. But because it's weatherproof, it's metal, and it's rugged, so that means that if I pair it with my EM1, I know it will survive in any condition as well, and that is exactly why I choose the 1.2 Pro version rather than the 1.8. So this is my choice, and let's start up with your choices. You guys have so many lenses. I can tell you now, I'm really overwhelmed at the moment by all the responses, but it's cool. I like to get you guys engaged, and I get you guys all talk about your lenses and stuff. This is really, really awesome. Okay, let me a few more people joined in as well. So hi Chris from hello Chris, hi Julian, and oh, we got Korean here. Hello, I actually cannot speak Korean, so I apologize if I do that. Richard, so you are 31.4 Sigma, okay, and that is 17.1.2 as well, right? Okay, so let's starting to go through some of the lenses from the community post that I made. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to open that up now. It's crazy. I'm telling you, it's really, really crazy. Right, let me share my screen. Hopefully I can share it right now. Hopefully it's actually okay. There we go. Right, So I'm not sure if you can see it. Right. So you can see the first couple of lines already is talk about one lens, which is the 12-100 f4 Pro. Right, I can really agree with that because I love that lens to bit. And if I tell you that, you know, I'm not sure if you saw my let's just put it here. So I'm not sure if you've seen my EM10 Mark IV review in this channel. I have taken the 12-100 Pro for that entire week. I only took one lens, and that was the lens I took for the entire review. Took all the sample footage, and all the photos were shot with that lens. So this is a really capable lens, and also very versatile because it's a zoom lens, of course, and it has the cool range, 12-100, which is a very long range, to be quite honest. And again, it's a pro lens. It's fully metal, fully weather seal, constant f4 aperture, plus an inbuilt IS, so you can work with single IS or on any of the Olympus bodies, so you can get really super stable footage, you know, if you do video as well. So that is a really cool lens. So I can totally agree with that choice there. No complaint, image quality, boo, nice. So it's cool. It's a really cool lens. I was gonna show you that, but you know what? Like I said last week, I'm still trying to tidy up my studio here. I still got a lot of boxes. So you probably see some behind me. I still got some boxes there. I somehow managed to lose my 12-100. And I'm not joking. Yeah, I've been looking around this morning and I couldn't find my 12-100. I have it somewhere. And then because I was moving bits and bobs here, different boxes, and I can't find my lens. I was going to show you the lenses that you guys nominated, because I have most of them. I don't have everything, but I do have most of them, but I couldn't find the lens. I really have to look for it now, because that lens is not cheap, right? You know, I have to find it. It must be somewhere in one of these camera bags that I have in here, because I have way too many bags. It will be somewhere in my collection here. So a little bit weird there, and so I apologize I couldn't show you the lens, but 12-100 is a brilliant choice. It's really cool lens. So let's move on to the next one. So I'm going to just go through in order, so there's no preference or anything like that. So here we go. So Bob, your choice is the 20mm 1.7. Right, that lens is also cool. It's iconic. Why? Because that was one of the first I would say capable prime lenses in the Micro Four Thirds world. You know, it's an old lens. I don't know which version you got. Whether I don't know you have the Mark 1 or the Mark 2, but the Mark 1 came out really long time ago. You know, and but that lens became so popular because it came out before the Panasonic own 1.4, Panasonic Leica. It came up before the 1.4, 25 1.4, and it came up before the Olympus 25 1.8. Of course, it's also before all the 1.2 Pro lenses, because this way before anything came out, you know, in terms of premium prime lenses. So 21.7 has been around for ages, and it had become a really popular choice among all the Micro Four Thirds photographers, because first, it's ultra fast at 1.7 aperture, and more importantly, it performs. It's sharp, it's cool. You can do subject isolation quite easily, because it's 20 is equivalent to 40 in full frame. So it's really cool lens, and also very compact. It's like a pancake lens, right? It's really nice. So yeah, again, I wouldn't disagree with your choice. It's a really cool lens. Mark II apparently is even better. I've never tried the Mark II. I tried the Mark 1 and I sold it because I'm an Olympus boy, so I need to use my Olympus gear. And but I do agree that 21.7 is a very cool lens, and I think I gave it to my friend now. So my friend now has the 21.7. So it's a really awesome lens as well. So let's go on to the next one here. So Jack, I'm just trying to see now. Jack, you have nominated the 12 1.4 as well, but you but you also use the 12 to 40. I also see other nominations about the 12 to 42.8, which I have it right here with my EM1 Mark III. So yes, this guy, if you're getting into Micro Four Thirds photography, if you are becoming an advanced photographer, starting to know a bit of a thing or two about photography, or if you do a lot of videography, you probably would have this lens in your bag. You know, this is like a de facto power 2.8 ultra fast premium pro grade a zoom lens. You know, this is a very versatile lens because it's got the 12 to 40 focal length, similar to the 12 to 100. But this guy has a 2.8 constant aperture, which means that you can shoot a little bit better in low lights because you can, you know, you don't have to push the ISO so much, and so it's actually cool. And it's a lot smaller size-wise, and also it's not as heavy as the 12 to 100. But you know, of course, you can't really compare it because the other guy is, you know, the long end is double the focal length of this guy. This is like only 40. That one's 100. So it's equivalent to 200 in full frame. So that is crazy, yeah. So this guy is really good. I do use this a lot for my product shoots actually, and sometimes if I just want to grab a lens just to go out, then this may come with me in the bag. And but I'm, as you know me by now, I'm more of a prime guy, so I don't usually use zoom lenses. So like most of my work bags usually consist of pro lenses, which are the 1.2 17, the 25, and the 40 to 150 f2.8 Pro, which I also have it right here. So so I know that some of you guys actually nominated that lens as well, so I just need to go through an entire list to see what happens. And oh, hang on, I've got another one here. Okay, Eric said that he also nominated the 12 to 40, but a close second was the Sigma 56 1.4. Right, I've been told about this 56 1.4 so many times. It's an awesome lens. Personally, I have only tried it a very short time. I didn't even like took many sample images. I would like to try it, and but obviously I don't have any friends who actually have the Sigma lens, and I actually went to the shop and asked, you know, to kind of touch it and just have a play with it. So I never really have the lens with me to test it and to really compare with all the other images I have with similar focal length. And in this case, it would be 45 because it's the closest focal length to 56. So I couldn't quite compare it, but I know that everybody who used that lens would swear by it, saying that it's really awesome. It's kind of more expensive than the 45 1.8, but less than the 45 1.2. So it's kind of in between. So in terms of performance, probably in between as well. Probably not as good as the 1.2 Pro, but definitely better than the 45 1.2. So never say never, because I may have some good news to tell you in the new year, but I just don't want to disappoint you guys by overhyping myself. And so at the moment, I'm working a few new deals with some other people, and so you may see me reviewing some other stuff next year. So I'm hoping that will be the case, but never guarantee, because they said they have to review everything they have in the moment. But if that day comes, this channel will be expanding a lot more because I'll be looking at other things as well. So hopefully that day will come, and that will be really, really awesome. And so I want to try the 56 1.4. Apparently, it would be good lens to try. Okay, let's see what other things you have in here. And this one, you actually say at the moment is the 17mm 1.8, which is the widest prime lens you have. This one, yep, like I said, the 17 is my lens, or my focal length. I love that lens. And the 17 1.8, yeah, yeah, it's kind of my go-to lens as well if I do traveling. But remember my question here, if I have to choose one lens, yeah, only one, and that will be my pro lens, my pro version, because I have both the 1.8 and the 1.2. The 1.2 is really just, you know, the ultimate 17mm lens. Is, yeah, like I said, I can take it to stormy in situation, humid situations, sandy situation. Once I pair it with the EM1 Mark III or the EM1X, I literally don't have to worry about the whole thing. You know, if it get really dusty, I actually put it in the shower. I just shower it, you know, like just to get rid of all the dust and stuff like that. So it's that good. You know, I love the weather sealing, you know, of all the pro lenses and the pro body, especially the EM1X and the EM1 Mark III. It's phenomenal, and that is why I choose that combo. But yeah, if this is what you have, and this is the one lens that you would take if you have it, and that will be cool. So yeah, 17 1.8, no problem whatsoever. So let's see if anybody can surprise me with anything here. So let me just continue. Ooh, yes. First surprise to me is I had this lens before. Right, Bill is suggesting 12 to 50 EZ. Yeah, this is the kit lens. Yeah, this is the electronic zoom. I had this lens. This is the lens that came with my original EM5 Mark I. I actually like this lens because first of all, it's light, I don't know how many of you actually have this lens. Is kind of the length of this guy, the 12 to 40, slimmer, a lot lighter because it's plastic. But I do like the electronic zoom function. It does, especially you do video, because it does remind me of these old camcorder. You know, like you can that flicker switch. You know, you can kind of do zoom in and out thing, and this guy does the same thing. You know, just a bit slower, but it's cool. I kind of like the electronic motions, and I don't know, just like maybe just a nostalgic thing, but I kind of like the electronic zoom function. So it's cool. It's actually not bad. It's not bad lens as well. It may not be as sharp as the pro lenses, but it's definitely a lot better than a lot of older kit lenses I've seen in full frame cameras or APS-C cameras. So the 12 to 50 is a very capable lens, and I wouldn't be surprised if people just using this one lens for the rest of their entire photographic journey, because it's actually a pretty cool lens, even though it's relatively cheap. I still remember I sold it for so low the money, and I'm gutted. I should have kept the lens. You know how? Right. Have a guess, yeah, how much I sold this lens for. I took it to a dealer. I just said I don't need the lens, just give me some money. And guess how they offer me? And I actually sold it. I agreed to it. I don't know why I agreed to it. I should have kept the lens. You know, you probably have no idea how much I sold that lens. Have a guess, and I'm going to come back to you. Tran, my phone camera lens, 26mm equivalent. Why not? Why not? I'm not just talking about Olympus here. So like, if your phone camera is your lens, so be it. And I do use my iPhone a lot, which is kind of equivalent to 24. It's a cool focal length. I mean, I always like this kind of between 24 to 35 in full frame equivalent, this sort of focal length. 24 maybe just a tad too wide for my liking. I kind of like 28 to 35, which is kind of my favorite, but 28 to 35 millimeters is kind of my visual. You know, whenever I see things in front of me, whenever my eyeball see things, you know, it's always kind of have that. I can register the 35mm focal length or the 28, but I can never register myself as 24 or wider or anything narrower like the 50 or something like that. I always see things as a 35, but obviously everyone is different depending on how much you shoot with your lens and how familiar you are with your own photography. So everyone sees things differently, and that's the beauty of photography, right? You know, I always respect different photographers, because when I speak to everybody, they all have different preferences. When you look at their photos, you know, they all have their own distinct styles. This proves photography is so wide and so varied. It's cool. It's just fascinating just to see how many people can capture the same scene differently. You know, like, I mean, let's say if we all go out together to a location, we all going to take some pictures, I can guarantee that all of us will have a slightly different take on that scene. And that is cool. You know, I always think that, you know, photography is an expression of yourself, you know, like how you interpret, you know, what you see. And I never really say that there will be right or wrong, you know. And okay, you know, if you enter a competition, that will be slightly different. They will be judging on certain things, and they might have certain criterias and so forth. But you just don't know exactly, you know, what they're looking for in a way, and until, you know, the winner's announced, unfortunately. But overall, I just admire people and taking photographs, taking pictures every single day. You know, like that's exactly why I set up the group See the World on Facebook. This is how I want to see everybody's pictures. It doesn't need to be professional, doesn't need to be competition level, doesn't need to be professional level. It doesn't really matter, because I want to see images, and that's what I want to see. I want to see how you see things, and how the world's going, you know, and it's fascinating. It's really, really fascinating. Okay, let's continue our conversation here. We got more 12 to 40 2.8. Looks like so far this is the lens that has the most vote. So, oh, we finally have something different now. Mike Moore, you have nominated the original 4/3 lens, the 50 to 200. Whoo! What a beast you got there. And the 50-200 is cool. It's really cool. I think this is the kind of like the semi-pro version, right? The 50 to 200, the 2.8 to f4. And it's cool. It's a cool lens. I think at the time, this is really, really awesome as well. Remember, in 4-3 is similar to micro 4-3, we have a 2-time crop factor. So this in 35mm is 100 to 400. So it's a cool range if you do a lot of bird stuff. And obviously, in micro 4-3 now, we have even more awesome lenses, like the new 100 to 400. That is awesome. And also the ultra expensive 150 to 400. You know, that beast is definitely kind of like the ultimate wildlife lens that people would dream to own, and including myself, even though I don't do wildlife. I think that will be something that I have to save up to get it, and we'll see. I'm still hoping Olympus, if you're listening, I still want to get the lens in my hand. At least I would play with it for a bit. I'll make a video out of it, and that will be cool. Right. Oh yes, Matthias, you nominated also one of my favorites, and but it won't be in my one lens kit, is the 40 to 150 f2.8 Pro. Yes, this is a beast. And how many of you own this lens? I think most of you guys will probably have one. And if you have been in the micro four thirds realm long enough, this would be a lot of people's dream lens as well, because when you talk about like the Trinity, remember I make the videos about Trinity. Most people would go for the 2.8 zoom lens Trinity lenses. So that would be the 12 to 40 2.8. Then would be the 40 to 150 2.8. And if you need the ultra wide, you have the 7 to 14 2.8 as well, which I also have it right here. And so this will be kind of like the ultimate collection, because that will cover you literally everything you need in photography, basically, unless you're going for a really niche subject like macros and stuff. But yeah, these will be the lenses that most people will collect and also use. I use this mostly for portrait, and which is actually pretty cool, because I do like the flexibility in the range, and I think Nat will probably agree with me, because Nat also used this lens to do some portraits. So this is actually a pretty cool, awesome, flexible portrait lens, and and also being pro lens is weather sealed, so like I always take it out for winter shoots, outdoor. I'd also like to use it for candid stuff as well, because it's got long range, so I can ask my subjects to blend in within the group or within the public. So I just, you know, kind of do this sniper thing or this paparazzi thing. So the photo come out will be a lot more natural, because you got like people, the passersby, you have normal people like chatting next to you and things like that. It's actually pretty cool. I think that this will be one of my favorite lenses of all time in terms of my collection. And yeah, talk about collections. I do have too many lenses. I think my wife's still screaming at me, you know, how many lenses I actually own. Like I said, I actually lost my 12 to 100. I don't know where it's gone. And that's not good. That's not good at all. Right. And Sai, you're nominated the 25 to 25 1.2. Good choice, because saw my golden lens video. It's all about this beast here. This is the 25 1.2. Lovely, lovely lens, and it is always the I think it's a must for a lot. I mean the focal length, not this lens, but like the focal length wise, a 25 is always super awesome to have, because it's a standard focal length in full frame, 50 millimeters. It really trains your eyes in photography. It is good. I mean, even though I use the 17 more than this guy here, but this is a must-have lens if you do photography. I still use this guy to do half-length portraits sometimes. I still use it for a certain type of photography. This guy here is well used, and you know, like I said, this is one of my first lenses to get when I switched from Canon to Olympus professionally. This was one of the first lenses I ever acquired. So this is an awesome lens, so good choice there as well. And Rick Bear, I just saw your comment pick up. Why is Jimmy so small today? Am I really small today? Is it? It's not like this big, yeah? Usually I'm this big. I'm just sitting a little bit back, you know, just trying to relax, try to chill a little bit. And I'm also, oh, by the way, yeah, how's my audio sound? I have my boom set up from the top here, so I don't know how good it sounds. I have to, you know, obviously check my video later once the stream's finished to see whether the sound actually come out okay. Last time when I put it down here, it was quite nice actually, so I quite like that that clarity from the sound, and hopefully this guy here is actually doing okay as well. So if this is okay, I'm gonna keep this setup, and because it's nothing in here, so I can take things out easier. I can show you guys stuff easier, so it's not in the way. So I can set my boom mic at the top. That will be cool. So just let me know if you can hear me good. So that will be good. Matthias also said that can you show us my entire collections. I may actually make a video about my entire Micro Four Thirds lens. Oh, actually, my entire lens collection. I may do one, but the problem is I don't know where to put them so I can show you guys all, because and also it's going to be a task to move them all out, lay them on the table, take some product shots, and just to show you guys. I would try to plan it just to see how. First of all, I have to count them first. I really lost count of how many lenses I have now, and obviously since I moved from Canon to Micro Four Thirds, I sold off basically all my Canon lenses apart from two. So I still have a couple of Canon lenses, but most of them are gone already. So most of my collections now are Micro Four Thirds and Leicas. So these are the two main brands that I still have. Obviously, I have some weird stuff like this one here, like the Pesto lenses from Lomography. I also have the some of these Kickstarter lenses like the Camlen 51.1. I have the Metacon 17.95, and I have some other weird lenses as well. I have the I have some Laowa lenses. Yes, I have quite a few Laowa lenses, so that will be something I can show you guys. But overall, I think I have maybe two, maybe 3 dozen lenses, and so I can just lay them all out on the table and can show you guys if you guys want to see it. Let me know. Okay, Adrian, hello, good afternoon. You're sitting in a thumbnail image on the bottom of the. Yes, I am. Yes. Oh, is that what you're saying? Okay. Yes. Why am I so small? Yes, I'm actually showing you guys the post here, so I can read out everything that I have for the lens nomination about you guys. What you think about if you guys only take one. Sorry, you guys only take one lens. Which one would that be? So let's continue the conversation now before I starting to go through your comments right here now live. So here someone nominated 30mm f2 FD. I don't think I've heard this lens before. 30 f2. Okay, this is new to me. I don't think I've seen that lens. I know 35 2.8. I know 35 f2. I don't think I've seen 30 f2. Enlighten me, because I haven't seen that lens. It must be a very rare lens, because I would like to see it. And Glenn, okay, you also nominated for 12 to 40 2.8. That's cool. 12 to 35 2.8. That's the 4/3, right? Oh, straight between. Nominated 12 to 35 f2.8. This is an awesome lens, and it's really cool. And he also said that the 35 to 100 as well, but it's too heavy and too long. And I have that lens in my bag. It is heavy, it is long, and not my everyday lens. But if I ever need to have the f2 aperture, I'll take that lens out, and that is really cool. John just suggested, John Cooper, have you ever used a converter on MFT? Yes, I have. I didn't like it. Maybe you have different experience. Maybe you have newer converters. I tried it probably about 3 years ago when I first switched over. I was looking into some solution to add my lenses to the Micro Four Thirds, but at the time I was trying the Metabones, and it just didn't perform the level that I would like it to perform. Because if I ever adapt any lenses, I really kind of hoping to have at least most of the AF speed that I will see in from the native lenses. But unfortunately, the Metabone didn't give me that performance, and I was a little bit disappointed. I tried the Sigma 18 to something, the 1.8 zoom lens. Everyone always have that, and so I tried it on the adapter. It's too slow for my liking. It's okay if you want to do manual focusing, but I'm talking about photography. I need the speed, and that didn't really give me. If you have the time to focus, you have the time to do things in video, perhaps, then yeah, adapter will be amazing. And but because I shoot both stills and videos, I need something to work on both, not just one area. And so that's why I kind of gave up the idea on Micro Four Thirds adapters or converters. But let me know if you have anything that works really well these days. I would like to give it a try just to see whether it works well or not. But having said that, because nowadays I have basically everything I need in the Micro Four Thirds world now in terms of lenses now, so I don't really need to acquire like other lenses to adapt to the Micro Four Thirds system. So at the moment, you know, if I do test one, I'll probably just only for testing purposes. I probably would not buy any more, let's say, full frame or APS-C lenses or any other older full frame lenses just to adapt to it, because I kind of have everything already. And unless I want to get killed by my wife, because she's already complaining how many lenses I got and how many camera bags I got. So this is not a good idea. So don't do that to me. Okay. Let's see what other lenses in here. And photo, ow, you nominated 12 to 200. Hey, who has 12 to 200? I reviewed this lens last year, and I find it a really fun lens to use. Right, I already said the 12 to 100 is an awesome lens because it's got the range, right? It's got f4 apertures and everything like that. But look, this is 12 to 200 in the same length, or kind of almost same length. Lighter because it's not metal, it's kind of plastic. But the range, gosh, if you just have the one lens for traveling, this would be it. Just one lens, but cover you absolute humongous range. You know, give you everything in just such a tiny and lightweight package. And yeah, it pretty much does everything. So it's good. It's good. But this is only me though. I mean, the only one thing that perhaps I would say that the bokeh is a little bit busy. So if you are, I can see that you are talking about landscape, but you do shoot portrait every now and then. I would think that the bokeh is a little bit tiny, a little bit more busy compared to any other lenses that I've tried in the Micro Four Thirds. The 12 to 100 f4 Pro bokeh was definitely a little bit more smoother. But of course, if you want bokeh, nothing can beat the Pro prime lenses, the 1.2, the 45 1.2, 75 1.8, yes, and the 45 1.8 even. They're all awesome lenses, can give you lovely bokeh, creamy bokehs, good subject separations and stuff like that. But in terms of versatility, all in one lens, remember, one lens, your 12 to 200 is very good, very good. I like that. And while using a digital camera is the Panasonic Leica DG ELM 200 2.8. Oh my god, you got a really big beast there. 200 2.8. Wow, you got something there, mate. And okay, you must be a wildlife guy then, because first of all, it's a fixed focal length. Yeah, it's not versatile. You're looking at one thing for that long as well. You know, like it's only certain application you can use with this lens, and because obviously it's a very bright lens, 2.8 at that sort of aperture. Awesome stuff. I would like to see some of your photos from that lens, because that would be quite an amazing combinations there. That would be quite cool. Right, and William also suggested 12 to 100. Awesome. And just order your third lens today, the 25 1.8 and the 60 Beast. Oh wow, cool. You got some good lenses there. And Lin Yo, you suggested 12 to 100 f4 and also the 7 to 14 f2.8 as a pair. I only said one lens though. You gave me two. You're cheating. No, I don't accept that. Sorry, mate. I don't accept your answer. Only one lens. Which one? Tell me one. Ming Yang, you suggested 300 Pro, 300 f4 Pro. Ooh, you got some lenses there, mate. And yep, I think I saw already some of you guys also suggest the same thing. 300mm f4 Pro is a very, very cool lens. I tested it. I don't own it, but I tested it. I reviewed it, and really, really cool. Like I said, I'm not a wildlife guy, so having a fixed focal length lens is really against my photography. First, like I said, because I don't do wildlife, I don't do long range stuff, and if I have such a lens, it will be a waste. And that is why if I ever go to buy the 150 to 400 Beast, at least that I can probably still make use of it, simply because it's a zoom, so I can still utilize some of the focal lengths. And but having a fixed focal length for that long is really restrictive for my photography. And so yeah, I can see. I mean, if you're doing a lot of birdings, a lot of stuff like that, that would be really awesome, especially if you got the M1X, because these two lenses there, so this lens and the camera will balance really, really well on each other, and I think it's a very, very awesome stuff. Abraham, it has to be the 40-150 f2.8 Pro, but the 12-100 recently joined the kit and is fast catching up. And for the Prime is 25. Both 1.2 and 1.8. You kind of have the similar thing that I have here, so that is pretty cool. Frederick, in my 4 years of shooting, 25 1.8 is most used overall. In my first good lens, and we used the 80% of 2. Okay, all right. So 25 1.8 is your lens. It's very easy to find out actually. If you use Lightroom or any other photo management software, just go into your library, do the filter, just click on the metadata just to filter out. It used to give you kind of like a breakdown on how many photos you take with each the lenses or focal length. You can then find out exactly which lens you use the most. And I find that most of my photos are what I said already, 17 1.2. I do have a lot of a photo that was done with the 40-150 as well. It's only because of the professional application that I was doing, but personally, all my personal stuff mostly will be on the 17 1.2 and the 25 1.2. These are the two lenses I use the most. Right, Camlen. Ooh, Connor also say Camlen as well. Camlen 21 1.8. Sharp, nice picture, excellent build quality, useful focal length on micro four thirds and APS-C. Nice. Nice. And oops, something jumped out. Okay, sorry, this is my wedding photo, by the way. Where is the Safari? Let's go back to Safari. Okay, there we go. So let's see now. Peter, you have the 12-200 as well. Cool. And also the 12-42 and 40-150. Nice. Oh, Kevin Kino, you're suggesting your 51.4 Super Takuma. Super Takuma is the very cool, very popular Pentax lens, and I had the 1.8 version. I never had the 1.4, but the Super Takuma is really cool, very vintage look. And if you're into a bit of vintage characteristic, the Super Takuma lenses will give you all that all day long. But obviously when you adapt to micro four thirds, it will become 100mm, so it's kind of like a long range medium tele portrait lens. But he is adapting to the Sony A7 III, so that's cool. And because obviously that's a full frame, so 50 is a 50, so there's no difference there. Matt Brum, you are Lumix 14-140. I need to be pragmatic. I like that. Right, that is good lens as well, and a lot of kit lenses are actually quite good. Many people don't actually know that a lot of the kit micro four thirds lenses are actually pretty good. If you're not really print a lot of stuff, if your priorities are only sharing on social media platforms and just looking at on Facebook or Instagram, you don't really need pro lenses. I think that any of the kit lenses will suffice. Is actually sufficient enough for you to do a lot of the photography work that you want to do. So very, very straightforward. So let's see any others. Alan Mays, 42.5 1.7. Nice. Because you sold the 12-32 pancake. But that is a good lens though. But in micro four thirds we have our 45 1.8. Have you tried that? That's quite good too. Switch to Olympus. And Vaclav, and currently it's the Panasonic 15 1.7. I do like that lens though. The Leica 15 1.7 is a gorgeous looking lens. Not just gorgeous looking, it's actually a pretty darn amazing lens in terms of rendering and also sharpness. It's a typical Leica thing, and it's very sharp, very punchy, very clinical in terms of rendering. I like it, but I think I did talk about it last time. Is that Panasonic Leica lenses are not weather seal. I mean, I'm only talking about this particular one here. So that's why I could never get past that. only because I already have this like brilliant 17 1.8, which is kind of very similar thing. And then if I really need to go out do some outdoor stuff, and I will take the 17 1.2 Pro anyway. So it will become redundant. Although I've tried this lens because one of my friends has it, so I did try it really thoroughly. Really nice lens, really lovely lens, and I think the best thing is it's very very compact and well built, very nicely built. WNE review. You nominated 7-14 2.8 Pro all-time favorite. That's a nice lens, though, isn't it? I have it here, and I do think it is a good lens. It is a good lens, right? I used to use it a lot for vlogging, but the thing is, it has become so heavy, I kind of gave up. So there you go. This is the 7-14 2.8. I mean, it is a gorgeous lens. It's a very, very nice lens here, and I like it. Really nice, and I do use it a lot for wedding because it's wide. So if I ever get to a very confined space, this will be super, super handy. And I like it when it comes to flaring. You know, even though like it is not supposed to, you know, create flares with the lens, but for those who know me well, I love to use flare in my photography. I would like to force the lens to create flare. This thing does have some pretty cool flares. I really do like it, especially when you shoot a wide, the ultra wide angle lens at what I'm talking about now, 7mm. So that is pretty awesome, and it's very straight. Distortion is really well controlled for a ultra wide lens like this. Is very very well controlled. I'm quite amazed how well controlled it is actually. And Johan is 12-100. DR Power Lock also 300 f4. Pi Me is 45 1.8. Yay, 45 1.8. See my latest video yesterday? I posted 45mm 1.8 is the king of portrait lens. I still mean it. Well, actually, of course I mean it. I made a video. And let's see, any other lenses here? Ooh. Teach and Travel Thailand. You have nominated Leica 24-75 equivalent on the LX100. That's a nice camera, by the way. LX100. Who has an LX100? That is the Panasonic camera. Has a micro four thirds sensor, which is actually pretty big for a compact camera, and so it's a built-in zoom. But it's a very, very gorgeous camera and does produce really, really nice image quality because it's a Leica lens at the end of the day. So it's actually pretty good, pretty darn amazing. I do like that that lens. I nearly got that camera way back when it first came out. I just found it was a little bit too expensive at the time because I could get the EM5 Mark 1 body at the time, and then okay, I can't get the lens for that price, but I can get a kit lens. So like even though it may not be the same quality as of the LX100 built-in lens at you know, if you're just looking at value terms, but at least I know the flexibility. I can add higher quality lenses in a later stage, and also EM5 wasn't that big either, and but I have to give it though, the LX100 is pretty cool and it is pretty compact. So if you really just want a compact camera that has ultra high image quality, that is pretty good option. I think they had the Mark II, right? It's been out for a few years as well. Raphael, you have the Nikon 70-200 2.8. What do you do? And you must do a lot of portrait stuff because 70-200 2.8 is it was my go-to lens in Canon days, and that is my portrait lens a lot. Even though I had the 85 1.2, it's a very versatile focal length for a lot of wedding photographers. If you ask any wedding photographers if they're using full frame cameras, 70-200 is a must-have lens. You know, like regardless, it's a must-have lens for just like anything. You know, it's more like a Swiss Army knife for them. You know, they can do a lot of portrait, a lot of candids, and in combination with the 24-70. You know, you practically can shoot a whole wedding with it, and it's kind of equivalent to in the micro four third. All you need is the 12-40 2.8, and a 40 to 150 2.8. You kind of cover everything now. And but of course, if you want to be just a little bit better, then you would go for the 1.2 primes. And well, that's my take anyway. I mean, I love my workflow, and I learned it over time. You know, not that I would say that is right to wrong answer or better or worse solutions, but it's just how I prefer to shoot my photos. And I had all the Trinity lenses in Canon days, all the 2.8 zoom lenses, some primes. It's just over time I prefer to use prime over zooms. It's just me. And so when I come to Micro Four Third, I also did the same thing. I just acquire a whole bunch of prime lenses first, then I add the zoom lenses for my video work, because in video it's easier to use zoom lenses, because you know you don't, it doesn't interrupt the flow, and you can zoom in and out a lot easier than having to change lens or move yourself, because like moving in video is not the same as moving in photography, right? You know, you're capturing a frame at a time. When it's video, you move, it shake the camera, and unless you're holding the gimbal all the time, right? And so it's very different thing altogether. So having a zoom lens for video is kind of like a must thing, you know. So that's why I use the 12 to 42.8 and the 12 to 100 f4 Pro for video work a lot, because it just, yeah, it's just cool. I just prefer to use that. Okay, another 45 1.8 from is Crate Font, Torsten Rock, and it's 12 to 100. Hey, how come you guys keep giving two lenses? Only one lens. More 25 1.2, right? Okay, looks like list is probably about the same. Oh yes, someone nominated 60mm macro. First time I see on the list. What can I say about this lens? Gorgeous, capable, super, ultra sharp lens. You know, like you can't get away with it. It's versatile. Don't get me wrong. This is a macro lens, but you can do portraits. You can do details, because it's 60mm is equivalent to 120, so you can do a lot of kind of like a medium tele landscape shots, and it's ultra sharp. It's a macro lens, right? It just has that resolving power in that thing, and bokeh is actually pretty nice as well, and it's weather seal. Even though it's a plastic lens, but it's weather seal, so it's a really good versatile lens. I've done a review on this lens, shooting portrait with it. Is really cool. More 35 1.2, 12 to 40, 12 to 100. Oh, 17 1.2. Yes. Come on, surprise me. Oh, yeah, one like that. Yeah, Lumix 12 to 35 2.8. Kind of equivalent to the 12 to 40 2.8 Pro here. But it's a Panasonic. One thing I do like about Panasonic lenses is that they are smaller, especially in the 2.8 zoom lenses. The 12 to 35 and the 35 to 100 f2.8 both are quite small, which is actually cool. You know, I do like the size of it, and but of course, you know, I'm an Olympus guy, so I'll sell the Olympus. No, but for me, I do prefer the Olympus lens for one reason, and one reason only, is this thing here. Menu clutch. You don't have that in the Panasonic, and I love it, because if I really need to turn on the menu focus, all I need to do is just click back and just start doing it. It's just amazing how well it works, because I can tell you that a lot of the time when I go out and shoot in very tricky lighting situations, sometimes the autofocus does fail, and I'm not joking. Sometimes when you're shooting against the sun, into the sun, or something like just super dark, and or whatever situations it is, when it's tricky enough to confuse the AF system, it just fails. It just can't find the focus. Then I have to switch on to menu and just do manual way. So instead of going through the menu or customize one of your button and things like that, all I need to do is just pull back and just do the magic. And you can set up auto magnify, auto peaking, everything auto. So as soon as you pull back, everything enable. You just start zooming in and find the focus fairly quickly. Magic. Then that is why I love the Olympus zoom lenses, because they have these features. But that's me. You know, the like I said, I do admire and do even envy the Panasonic Pro lenses, because they are smaller, especially the 12 to 35 and also the 35 100. They are quite a bit smaller and lighter. Right. Ooh, Panasonic 14 2.5 pancake lens. Nice. One more 21.7. Cool. Oh, below, finally, 75 1.8. We kind of talked about it. I think the 71.5 is a pretty awesome lens. And I don't own it. Tracy has the 75 1.8, and we did a review together on that lens, and it's a very cool lens, very sharp lens. I can tell you that this is definitely one. If you go online and search for the review on this lens, and you see some of the blog site, they've done some like proper lab test on the on this lens. This 75 1.8 is one of the sharpest in the micro four thirds world, and I'm not joking. When I tested it, I said, "Oh gosh, this thing is sharp." Even at 1.8, it's just amazing. But for me, 75 is a little bit too long, and if I need to get to 75, then I would use the 40 to 150 to get to that focal length. I know at 2.8 you cannot compare with the 1.8, but the problem is it's just too long and too restrictive for my type of photography. But if you have the use for it, and then if you have the space, if you shoot that type of photography a lot, like certain type of headshots and half body length shots from length shot from distance, yeah, you can't go wrong with this lens. This is really, really awesome, and it's sexy looking, really good looking lens. Sigma 56 1.4, yeah. Oh, do we got 24 2.8? That's the old manual lens. That's nice, nice. Lumix 25 1.7. That's the equivalent. We have the equivalent to 25 1.8. That's a funny thing, isn't it? How come every time that Olympus had the 1.8 and the Panasonic will have the 1.7? I just want to be a little bit different. I just give you 0.1 of a stop better. Don't you find that? You know, like Olympus has the 17 and 25 and 45 1.8, and Panasonic will have the 1.7. Technically, I'm telling you now, there's no difference. And if you go in the setting, go look at the exposures, look at the you know, whatever. Yeah, you there's no difference whatsoever. If you look at the shutter speed, if you do shutter speed as aperture priority, if you set it 1.7 and 1.8, you look at the speed, it's the same speed, because it's just too little of a difference for the system to tell. But it's a funny how Lumix just go with 1.7 instead of 1.8, and maybe just don't want to confuse people. I guess maybe it's a marketing thing, and yeah. So like, yeah, Olympus has the 25 1.8. Let us do the 25 1.7. That will clear everything up. 15 on the pen. Oh, 15mm on the pen. Cool. Panasonic 14 to 140mm. Very versatile. Yeah, Tracy has that lens as well, which is actually pretty cool. And it's once again this I would call it the super zoom. You know, like very long range zoom lenses are very versatile. Like if you are really doing a lot of traveling, sometimes if you want to cover everything, you don't want to lug around different focal length, like in terms of prime lenses. And these sort of lenses are awesome. Like similarly on the 12 to 200 on the Olympus, or the 12 to 100 f4 Pro if you have the budget. And these sort of like long range zoom lenses are pretty awesome when you do traveling. I think it's really good. George, you're nominated 12 to 50 kit lens, the 3.5 to 6.3. Although you have the 12 to 40 2.8 and the 16mm 1.4 Sigma. Interesting. Interesting. I don't have a camera. Vicky, oh my god, Vicky, yeah, Vicky, are you in the house? Vicky, well, it's always been a 35 equivalent, so Nikon 35 f2, Leica is the 23 Sony Lumix, then MFT is the 17 1.8. Yeah, Vicky is kind of like me. I kind of prefer the 35mm focal length. So if I go to use my full frame camera, I will use the 35mm, and go to micro four thirds, it will be the 17mm. Yeah, I can't get away with it. It's just kind of my focal length, and like I said, it's how I train my eye to see things. It's how I interpret the world in that focal length. It's kind of cool that just to, you know, when you think about your photography, when you grow as a photographer, and you're gonna try a lot of things like throughout the entire journey, right? You know, you first would get one lens, or maybe came with the kit lens, you start playing with the kit lens, and then you start thinking about, oh, I want to do this. You know, when I'll get inspired by someone who posted a photo like that, I want to capture a similar sort of thing. Then you buy that lens and you try it, and then you try it for 6 months, a year, and you see another photo. Say, oh, I'd like to do that too, and but my current lens won't allow me to do that sort of effect. Then you get that lens again, and like, so I would say over the course of like 5-6 years, and you're starting to kind of find out exactly what lens you use the most, or what lens that you kind of try and put it aside again. I mean, I've been there myself. You know, whenever I started photography, I would acquire lenses left, right, and center whenever I mean, obviously, budget allows, and just trying different focal length and trying different niche lenses like tilt shift lenses, and I've tried mirror lenses. I've tried macro lenses, yeah, just different focal length in general. So it, like I said, you know, over time when you get more experience in photography, when you're starting to, especially if you're working photographer, and you will find what sort of focal length, what sort of lenses you're starting to use most, and that's how I found out, like, you know, if I really only have one lens, what would that be? That's exactly my point. And sometimes, you know, in the title, in the thumbnail of today's live chat, I talked about that why one lens can benefit your photography. It is true, and that is exactly why when you do a photography school, if you do a course or do a degree or diploma in photography, a lot of the photography school will ask you to get a film camera. That's one thing, and second thing is they will ask you to get a standard lens like 50mm, just one lens, fixed, prime, not zoom. The reason is, they want you to restrict yourself and just to have less choices in your brain, so you can focus on learning about certain aspect of photography. Of course, all the basics like exposure triangles, composition, lighting, and then also the view, the fields, and also training your eyes to visualize something. And I think learning with one lens is very, very good exercise to restrict yourself, because I guess these days, especially in digital, that all of us are quite spoiled with like all the different options, all the different capabilities that the cameras can give you these days. And I guess sometimes it may be just a little bit too much, and that may actually overwhelm or even confuse a lot of beginners. You know, a lot of, like, I get a lot of questions sometimes, and they email me, I'm just started photography, but I got the EM10 Mark IV or EM10 Mark II and Mark III. I can't use this and that. But that is a beginner level camera, and even that is very confusing, because it does have a lot of features. And to be quite honest, I think I could actually shoot wedding with that EM10. I'm not joking, I can do that. And it's just that there's no difference between the pro cameras in terms of capabilities wise, you know, depending on what sort of thing you do, of course. But if you're purely just taking photograph of people, you're purely taking photograph of a scene, you don't need a, let's say, EM1X. You know, you don't need that. You know, EM10 is perfectly fine, perfectly capable to doing that sort of thing. And so when it comes with a lot of different features, different like automations, it's simply just starting to confuse a lot of photographers. So having less of that, just kind of like purely swipe away all these automations there, eye focus, different detections, and live ND, whatever, you know, like these super duper AI stuff that you have these days, and purely just looking at the viewfinder, looking at your subject, trying to interpret things, and then you're trying to compose yourself, compose the camera, compose the thing, looking at the light, do this exposure triangle thing, take your shot at the right time, execute it. And this is photography, right? You know, everything on top is bonus. Everything on top is helping you to get a shot quicker and better and more accurately, but doesn't mean that it gets you a better photograph. And so I think that for people who are learning photography, it's quite good to start with just one lens, because we already have too much stuff in the camera already. Having one prime lens, just one lens, is quite good in terms of like training your brain as a photographer, training your eyes. You know, if for instance, just give a very simple example. If you get a 25 1.8 lens or 25mm lens, just a prime lens, put it on your camera. If you first started photography, go around shooting around the block. Just keep going, do it 1 week. Just keep going out shooting every single day. if you find yourself constantly moving closer to something to photograph, that means that the 25 may be just a bit too wide for you. You need something narrower. You may need a 45. If you start going back all the time, it's not wide enough. I want everything. Then you may need a wider lens. So it's a very good way to learn from that, and that's why I think having one lens, maybe even prime lens, is kind of like the best example. Having a prime lens is the best to evaluate yourself as a photographer. What sort of thing you need, what sort of thing you do enjoy. I think that is a very, very important step in photography, especially when you started learning. For those who are already in photography for so many years, and if you are still using multiple different lenses, and it's quite easy, like I said, if you're using Lightroom or any equivalent software, just go to the metadata, just filter out different lenses, and you can see immediately the number of photographs you take with that particular lens. So you have a list of them and see which number has the highest, so which lens has the highest number, then you can see which lens you use the most. And you can even filter focal length as well, so you can see which focal length you have taken the most. And so that means that you could be a 50 guy, you could be a 25 guy, you could be a 12, you could be a 7. So like, it's a fun way to watch it, to see how many photographs you actually take with that particular focal length, and that would mean that how you see the world and as a photographer. So let's try that. You know, like after this video, if you have time, go to your Lightroom, go to other program that you have, and just do a filter and to see what sort of thing you can find out about your photography, what sort of lenses you have taken in the past, and what's the most popular focal length and you use. That would be pretty cool, right? So I've gone through the entire list now. This is the entire 100 nomination here, and let's go through some of you guys' list. And I know some of you already like starting to talk about it, and that's pretty cool. But I missed some hello, so let's say hello to some other people as well. Hello, Howard, near Oxford. Your nomination is 12 to 100. That's pretty cool. Let's bring me back Big Jimmy again, not Small Jimmy. Okay. So Howard is 12 to 100. That's, like I said, it's a pretty awesome lens. Oh, you are 17.1.8. Tell me, is all the see the world photograph was taken in 17.1.8? That's cool. That's cool. And also Victor, it looks strange if they choose other lens than 17. Yep. And now I'll change the channel name, right? That's cool. Yeah, for those people who've been asking me, what is Red 35? Why did I choose Red 35? Now you probably know now. I said 35mm was my favorite focal length. So Red 35, the number is the focal length. It's my favorite focal length, and that's why I choose the 35. It's no other reason. It's very simple, and because I'm a photographer, so I just want to use a focal length that I'm in love with, you know, and I've been shooting with throughout my entire career. So that's why I choose 35. Red is something else. Okay. New. I was surprised that 17 might be all I need. You try, you know. So, but like I said, you really don't know until you really try. And if you have a zoom lens, if you have the 12 to 40, and you can find out, like I said, from the filter and Lightroom, and to find out which focal length you use the most from that lens. And that is something to tell whether you usually prefer that kind of view to view. You know, that is something to I think it's quite fun, because I never kind of do that until a few weeks ago I was starting to look at some research and starting to do filter thing and look at all these lenses, and I knew what I use anyway, but I just did a lot of because I tested so many lenses over the last few years, so I just did a list of it, and just to see what sort of numbers I was getting at, and I found out all this filter thing, and it's actually quite cool. And John from Manchester, UK. Hello. Is it snowing in Manchester? What? Really? Wow. London's very cold today, very cold. That's why I have this on, even though I'm in the studio. It's getting a little bit cold in the UK, and I know London is not 0 yet, but it's 3 degrees this morning, so it's quite cold. Not frosty yet, but you're snowing in Manchester. Wow, that is cool. Is it white, or is it like it just sleet, or not quite snowing? Brian Parr, hello Jimmy and everyone, hello. And I would choose the 12 to 200. Yeah, like I said, it's a very versatile lens. I think it's a very cool lens for that purpose. For traveling, I think you can't go wrong with that, and it's really good. Julian, agree, only one lens, I'll go for the 17 Pro too. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you. Right, let's see what other things in here. And Nat, what's that annoying rattling noise? Did you hear rattling noise, Nat? I don't know. Can't see anything rattling anywhere. Maybe it's my chair. No, I don't know. Right, I have no idea what that noise is that you're referring to. Maybe I have to look back at the video to see. Maybe it's just the connection, because the boom mic is actually wireless connected to the camera. So maybe it's an interference somewhere. Okay, we got someone nomination here, another easy lens, right? Okay, the 14 to 42, the pancake zoom lens. I love that little thing. I have it on my EM10, not EM10, the EPL9. I have it on my EPL9 on the camera back there. It's another electronic zoom lens, and it's tiny. This thing's tiny. I love it. It's really cool. Yeah, it's almost like a point and shoot. And Calvin Yip, hello then Calvin, how are you? And Olympus McLeon, hello Olympus. And Manora TV, hey brother, hey you, how are you man? And hello, Jim Jones, $25. Did you give me 25? And Rick Bears £5. What is that? What are you guys talking about? You guys must be replying each other. Right. Okay. Richard Hearing, has anyone used the Voigtlander 17mm 0.95? Right. The text is a bit small. Let me just enlarge it slightly. Ah, better. Nope. But I have this. Ooh. You guys have seen my reviewing this yet? This is the Mitacon 17.95. Is probably the closest thing to the Voigtlander 17.95. It's actually, the Mitacon is not bad at all. It's actually pretty respectable for a 0.95 lens. Don't forget that all the 0.95 lenses, apart from Leica, and they are a little bit dreamy at wide open, a little bit low contrast, quite a bit of vignetting, but sharpness is okay. And I would say sharp, but it's okay. I would say that the Voigtlander 17.95 is, in terms of performance, optical performance, is very close to the Mitacon, and but it's just more than triple the price. And so if you really want to try, I mean, I'm not discarding the Voigtlander, but the Mitacon is pretty good value for money if you want a 0.95 lens. So of course, if you have the buy and return policy in your country or where you live, in the UK we have 14-day return. So if you buy the 17.95, try it out. If it's not like you can just return it and just try it out, just try the lenses. But for me, I think the Voigtlander 0.95 is good when it first came out, but now we have quite a few different alternatives now, and it's always good to try out other lenses, and maybe even to rent it just to see yourself. The Mitacon is actually pretty good value for money, for especially, they both shoot 0.95 and both 17mm, so you got a direct comparison there. Unfortunately, I don't have the Voigtlander, so I can't do a direct comparison with you. So maybe one day, if I do so happen to be able to do a collaboration with Voigtlander, maybe I will be able to do a comparison video for you. So that would be quite cool, right? Especially I can compare it with my favorite 17 1.2 as well, just to see what the differences are. But I did compare between the 17 1.2 Pro and the Metacon 0.95, and you know, you can't beat the 1.2 in terms of sharpness and ultimate quality. The 17 1.2 Pro is way ahead in terms of image quality compared to 17.95 in Metacon. And unless you really stop down to like f8, and then you can get kind of more a matchable center sharpness, but edges, the Olympus still wins. And so you're paying for a reason for the Olympus Pro lens, and because they are genuinely that good. And you have the 300 f4 is your standard. Quite a lot of you guys shoot long lenses. That's pretty darn cool. Ben, you have the 45 1.2 Pro on the EM1 Mark II and the 17 1.8 on the Pen F. 745 1.2 Pro. I have that lens as well. But the reason I made the video for the 44 1.8 Pro is the King is because I personally believe 99% of photographers who are looking for that type of focal length, the Olympus 45 1.8 is really the best. You know, and in terms of image quality, okay, it may not have that very, very finite sharpness or finite quality of the 45 1.2 Pro, but it gets you there, like 99% there. So and for quite a lot less money. And what's more, this lens is so small, and it just fits well in any micro four third lenses apart from the EM1X. And for me, if I want a very compact work bag, you know, because I can't live without my 17 1.2 Pro, like I said. I can't live without my 24 1.2 and the 40 to 150 2.8 Pro. So if I want the 45, I will just slot it in because it's so small, the 1.8 version. I actually have the 44 1.2 Pro. I just don't take it out. I know I'm so bad, yeah, but I just got the 1.2. I just don't use it. I just use the 1.8 more than the 1.2. And but you know, if this is your thing, if this is your focal length, and yeah, this would be the best lens you can get for 45 and full stop. And but the 45 1.8 is really something, really something. And Nat agree with me about the 45 150 is a great portrait lens. It's awesome. And Ron, yeah, you are the first one who suggested the 12 to 45 f4 Pro. Why no one else suggested this lens? This is an awesome lens. I personally don't use it, but I've tested it. I reviewed it in this channel. The 12 to 45 f4 is really a good lens for landscape photographer because it's light, it's weather sealed, ultra high quality optics, and it just works well with any Olympus cameras, especially the weather sealed cameras. So you can take it out for hike, take it up to the mountain, do landscape photograph all day long with a very small and lightweight setup, and still getting very high quality images. So the 12 to 45 it really is something, and I like that lens. But I personally, at the moment, I'm waiting for the Olympus 8 to 25 f4 Pro lens coming out, and hopefully sometimes, I don't know when, but then it's already on the roadmap. So I'm waiting for that because this 7-14 is just too heavy for my vlogging needs. And if the f4 version comes out at half the weight of this guy and half the size, that will be my lens. I would get that in a heartbeat. You know, like I'll just get that lens. I think that will be my ultimate vlogging lens, and that will be really cool. And oh, sounds perfect. That's good. I'm hoping that sounds really good, so I can really use this setup quite well, and I don't have to clip on my mic anymore because it's a little bit uncomfortable. Every time I clip on the mic, I have to put the wire in my shirt and stuff like that. It just, yeah, it feels a bit itchy sometimes, so it's not very nice. So now I can do wire free. Like I'm free, just like photography, right? I'm free now. And Morgan sounds good as well. That's good. Excellent stuff. Besides that strange bubbling, really? So Nat said there's some rattling sound. This is now bubbling sound. Possibly my fan on computer. I got the fan is kicking in on the computer, and this is a bit weird. Okay, let's see. Adrian, good afternoon. You are sitting in the thumbnail image. Oh, is that what you meant? Okay, now I got you. I got you earlier when I was doing that. Now I completely understand. Right, Brana, good evening. How are you? How are you? Very good. Vaccines on the way. Yay! News, right? You know, like if you don't know, you haven't heard about our UK headline news is that we finally approved one vaccines, and so now it's government approved, is ready for distribution. Whew. So this may be the light at the end of the tunnel. This may be actually the exit for the tunnel. And I am super excited because this year has been shite for everybody. And I think that this is, you know, one good news at least, you know, for 2020. So hopefully it is true. Hopefully it is something that will be available for everyone, and then we can be going out again very, very soon. And that would mean that I will be able to go and shoot with my models very, very soon. But having said that, I don't, because judging by what the government said, the vaccine will first be available for all the vulnerables, all the key workers, like doctors, nurses, or the frontline workers, and all the old people or with existing medical conditions. Unfortunately, those will be first. Well, I wouldn't say unfortunately. Fortunately, they will be first, but I'm not in the old age group, so I have to wait. So, so I don't know when that will be my turn to get the vaccine, and so I just possibly, I'm guessing I probably won't get it until late spring, maybe even early summer, if not like actually in the summertime next year, before we actually be able to have the vaccines. So we shall see, but sooner the better, then we can all get on with our lives, and hopefully that we can finally just go out like normal. You know, going out these days in even without lockdown is a nightmare. You know, you don't want to touch anything. You feel wary about going into public transport. You constantly sanitizing your hands. You know, and then your masks and everything is annoying. It's annoying, especially like I'm a people guy. You know, I go out. I like to talk to people. I like to take photographs of people, and even with my clients and stuff. You know, I'm a very approachable guy. I like to, you know, hug and everything, yeah, and then and now I can't do any of that. You know, it's just like so weird for me. I have to adjust to that, and it's not very, very good. But anyway, so and I actually think that, you know, it's good that we finally have a vaccines that's been signed off. that is good. That is good. Calvin, build a display cabinet for all my lenses. I have been thinking about that, but I don't want to do that because I have to dust them every single time. You know, if I have too many of them, it's so hard to dust them. You know, if you have one or two, that's not too bad. But you have like 24 of them, it's just not the way to go. It's just way too many, and I hate dusting. You know, it's just too much stuff going on. At the moment, I really do have too much stuff here. So like, but like I said, most of them are for my See the World competition. If you guys forgot about it, you guys do have about 3.5 weeks to submit your photos or videos to enter my competition to win prizes. And they are still cool. They're still here, nicely packed in a box, ready to be sent out and in the new year. So submit your best work, and hopefully, good luck, and hopefully you guys will win something. That will be cool. Okay, and Rick Bear saying that I was going to buy the 17 Pro until I realized that I could just grab Jimmy's 17 as soon as the COVID-19 vaccinator. Yes, mate, you can. Right. Trevor, your is the 40 to 150 Pro is definitely in the back most of the time, and when I know I need the length, but I also have the new 100 to 400. Now you got competition now. Why confuse yourself? Have two long lenses? But anyway, it is cool. If I have the budget, I'll buy both. And then, but like I said, I'm saving my kidney for the 150 to 400 Pro lens. You know, that is my ultimate dream beast of lens. You know, like hopefully I will be able to show you guys in a year time. And then if I save enough money, if my business come back, I will be able to make some money, and then I will try to convince my wife to let me buy that lens, because like I said, you know, this would be my ultimate prize in the Micro Four Thirds world, my ultimate dream for owning something that represent Olympus, you know, and that would be cool, right? You know, I'm not just talking about being an ambassador. I'm just talking about like a fanboy, right? It's just a fanboy thing. And I know most of you probably would think I'm nuts, you know. And why pay so much money for a lens that you probably won't use? It's quite hard to explain, you know. And like I mentioned, you know, before, if I'm into something, I will be really into it, and that's why I love photography. I'm really into photography. I like creating things. But at the same time, I'm also into Olympus, you know, and now I'm just so into Olympus that I just want to get everything that I could possibly get, and in Olympus term, you know, look, I mean, I got Olympus merchandise like hat, like buff, you know. I even have Olympus badges. Speaking of that, I need to show you this. Have you guys seen this? This is a limited edition Cozy Speed Street-O-Matic camera bag. It's very cool. If you just go on street photography, if you're going on one perfect for one lens setup, just so happened to be, you know, like this is cool, right? I recently got this, and then really cool. Yeah, this is a limited edition because you go to the Cozy Speed website, they don't sell the Olympus version. The Olympus version actually have a different tab here. I don't know if you can see this. Okay, right. You see this tab has the typical Olympus yellow and blue, and obviously got the Olympus logo here. It's really, really cool. It's worked with, like, this strap here is elastic, but also had got the magnetic buckle here. It's really cool. Just open and close using magnet. And inside, it's perfect for one camera lens setup. Really, really awesome. Look at that. That's cool, right? I just like chop it in and just close it, and it's really, really good. And it's waist bag, by the way, so you hook around your waist. It's actually cool. You can only get this through Olympus website exclusively. So it's really awesome. If you guys want to find it, I will try to put the link in description, so you can check that out. I think for one lens setup, then you know what we've been talking about today, this will be really awesome, right? Okay, it doesn't fit the 100 to 400 or the 40 to 150 for that matter, but it's good for any, like 25 1.2, 12 to 40, 2.8. I think it may fit the 12 to 100 f4 Pro with the EM5 or kind of equivalent body. So it's a very small, tiny bag, but it's really, really good for your one lens setup. It does have a rain cover, so it's waterproof if you want to. So cool, right? It's good. I'm telling you, anything with Olympus on it, I'm getting it if I can. I even got badges. Like I said, I got mugs, and I don't know how many merchandise you guys got, and but I just, yeah, I'm nuts. I'm an Olympus nut. I'm an Olympus fanboy. But my review is still non-biased. My review is non-biased, and I'm telling you the truth. Okay. Rob said, I know what happened to your 12 to 100. Your wife sold it. She might have sold my lens and paid for the bills. You know what? It really puzzles me now, and I really can't remember where I put the lens. You know that the 12 to 100 is not a small lens, yeah? And I am struggling to find it. I mean, I've been looking for like at least an hour now before this stream started, and I couldn't find the lens. I have no idea where the lens went, and it may be somewhere. It will somehow come back out again. Oh, Valentine, hello, love the Leica 10 to 25, 1.7 or 1.8, 1.7. Again, they're using odd numbers, 1.7. Right, cool, wow. I like that lens. I tried it. It's really nice. Just so big and heavy and expensive, and I am hoping that Olympus will release something similar to that. And but you know, it's a really cool lens. I do like that lens a lot, especially like if you're using on GX5, that means you shoot video, right? And it's a perfect video lens because it's got 1.7 aperture and also a zoom lens. Remember, you know, like I talked about the zoom lens, how versatile it is for videos. And also that being a 1.7 constant, that means you don't have to worry about too much about lower light situations. You can still maintain a lower ISO performance. So that is cool. You know, this is really good lens for video to me. And for photography, well, I'm not entirely kind of satisfied with that just because of the size and the weight of it. And price is another thing. Price, and like I said many times, I'm a pro. So if something that can make me money, It doesn't matter if it's $2,000, $3,000. It doesn't really matter. I'll buy it if it can make me money, right? But for this, it's just that I think to do more to do with the form factor, and also like I much prefer the even wider aperture at 1.2 for my prime lenses, and also like it is just quite a bit bigger than what I was originally thinking before they actually announced the lens. So it's a good lens, it's a great lens. It's just kind of not my lens, but I can see why using that, especially if you're a video guy. The GH5 that with that lens is a really good combo there. Let's see now. Corner made my last product shot for a client on my Panasonic 12-32 pancake lens. Excellent image quality. Yeah, like yeah, I keep saying that, you know, like Olympus lenses, or even like kind of Panasonic kit lenses, any micro four thirds lenses are cool. They are just cool because like the pixel sizes on the micro four thirds sensors are quite small. So lenses that is sharp on the micro four thirds sensor is extremely sharp in other larger format. It is what it is, you know. Like I'm not really trying to lie about it, because I try to do it the other way around, you know, trying to adapt some of the sharpest lenses on the full frame world into micro four thirds, and it turned out to be complete junk. And then I mean, I'm trying to do a video on this topic, because I do have a couple of really good lenses on the large Leica. I mean, I have a couple of really good Leica lenses, and they're expensive lenses. They are really sharp in the full frame system. But I did adapt to the micro four thirds, and it just looks horrible. And sharpness is not something that you can do in post. You know, if the lens is sharp, it's sharp. If it's not, it is not. So I can't really fake about it. You know, the picture will tell you all the story. So I'm trying to make a video on that once I sort out my mess. Once I find out my 12-100 Pro lens, and I will do that video. Live by Tim. Hi Tim. Good evening to everybody from Germany. 12-100. You guys keep reminding me the 12-100 f4 now. I'm sad now. I can't find the lens. Seriously. Valdez, 140-150 is glued to my EM1 Mark 1 for outdoor outfit. Nice. Burana, heard the news from someone that JIP will continue Pan-F Mark 2. Any thought? Woo! Something that I think, even if I know, I don't think I'm allowed to say anything, right? You know, if I do, I'll get a sack from Olympus, and I won't be an ambassador anymore. And I don't think that I would like to do that. But good news. Good news. It is good news. Why? Okay. You guys are the first one to hear this. Right. You know the Olympus GIP thing, you know, Olympus sold or whatever. So they're going to have a new company called the OM Digital Solutions Corporation in Japan. It's already been set up in summer. In Europe, we're going to have the Olympus OM Digital Solutions Europe, and it's also a company just set up as well. So now Europe is covered with a new company, also directly under the Japanese mother company, the OM Digital Solution in Japan. And you know the stuff that I was kind of worried a little bit earlier? I just signed a contract literally 5 minutes before I started this stream. Is that I continue to be the Olympus ambassador. So I just signed a contract, so I'm going to continue. So you're going to see me announcing that I will be an ambassador for Olympus continuously in 2021. I wouldn't say how long, but at least I signed a contract. That means the transition is complete. So like my contracts now have been changed from Olympus to OM Digital Solutions, representing Olympus the brand. So my contract has been signed. So I am now continue to be the Olympus ambassador, and so I'm really happy. And you know, to be quite frank, you know, obviously there was too many uncertainty there. I mean, I have faith in the company. I know that they are going to propel forward, and will make this work. Yeah, you know, continue to do the investment in micro four thirds well. And I also said that, you know, if I do lose my ambassadorship, if I do one day stop representing the brand, I was still gonna use the Micro Four Thirds. I'm still gonna use the camera systems, and it's no point changing it because it suits my needs, right? All the things that I need to do. But at the same time, it's a business decision. You know, if they want to change the strategy, if they want to change something, I can't really stop them. You know, I'm not in a position to discuss with them to stop them from happening. You know, it's way above my pay grade. You know, is not really something I could do or I could talk about. But I am happy. I'm genuinely happy that I was offered a contract, and I just literally signed the contract 5 minutes before I started the stream, and that means that I am going to be continue as an Olympus ambassador in UK and also in Europe. So I am very happy and grateful for that. So but I'm also happy that you guys are here with me as well to hear this news, and you are the first one. Seriously, I haven't told anybody else. You know, I haven't told anybody on Facebook. Even my wife doesn't know that yet. And I literally just got that, and then yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. So it's really cool, really cool. I can't be more happy about that, you know. But like I said, future is an unknown still. You know, we still don't know what 2021 lies ahead. You know, and we don't know what's happening next year. But we know the vaccine's coming. We can go out. We know OM digital solution is coming, and we know new cameras, new lenses will be coming next year. And so happy days, you know. So hopefully this journey continues, and then we move on, and we look forward to the next new chapter together. Yeah, let's do that, right? And then I will be able to show you more Olympus stuff. I will be able to continue to talk about Olympus, and I will be able to continue to be in the Micro Four Thirds realm. I'll be doing more video stuff with Olympus as well, because I've been filming their stuff at the beginning of the year, but because of COVID-19, it kind of all stopped. But hopefully that will resume in the new year when everything kind of gone back to normal. So I can't wait for that. Speaking of which, tomorrow we're gonna have the new firmware update for the EM1 Mark III and the EM1X and the EM1 Mark II and the EM5 Mark III. All to do with the new stabilizations, and I'm looking forward to that, to test it out to see what the differences are in real time use. It won't be tomorrow though, because if I update the firmware tomorrow, and I just have to need a few days to do the testing. And also ProRes RAW recording, that's another thing. If you guys are video guys, I have my Ninja 5 ready. I'm ready. I have my Ninja 5. I have everything set up, ready to test the new firmware. You know, I've been using Ninja 5 to record anyway, but it's obviously not in RAW terms. But it will be cool to finally see the difference between Apple ProRes RAW and the internal, then other than just the normal a recording from the Ninja 5. So it will be interesting to see how much data I can see from the ProRes RAW. I know it's going to be a text on my storage, because if you record everything in ProRes RAW, it's going to be a lot bigger in terms of file size. But I will have a lot more information to play with in terms of grading. But at the same time, I need to denoise everything, because if you shoot RAW, everything is noisy. I'm telling you, even the base ISO. So you just have to be prepared to do a lot of denoising, and in videos, in post productions. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll have to test it all out to see how well the system works, especially for EM1X and EM1 Mark III, because these are my two main video cameras for Olympus. So that will be something to look forward to. I'm also going to be reviewing other video stuff for Olympus as well, and accessory for the Olympus setup that I'm doing for my type of filming. So stay tuned for that in the new year, because it's coming. And a bit of, advanced warning, right? We're buddies now, so I'm going to tell you a little bit ahead so you can prepare yourself. This Sunday is also quite cool as well. Stay tuned for that. So I'm leaking too many information, man. You guys should just click on the bell notification. Just stay tuned. Okay. Rainbow Boba, hello, I'm new. Hello, welcome to Red 35. Yes, it's a very good, friendly community here. We're all friendly here, talking about nothing but photography and, of course, Micro Four Thirds, especially Olympus, right? Yeah, it's all cool. If you have any question whatsoever, please feel free to leave comments here, or even direct message me, and I'm quite happy to answer some of them if I have time. And then mind you that I normally reply quite slow, so if I don't reply in a day or two, maybe even a week, please forgive me. I don't do it deliberately. I will try to get back to you if I can. And but yeah, please feel free to call me. Jason Yay say 15-1.7. Nice. Like I said, it's a very cool lens, that is. And Paul, hello Paul. 25-1.8, yes. And 21 Penny occasionally had the weird bokeh distortion issues. Is it the elliptical eye thing? This is to do with the lens design, and then so maybe Panasonic employs slightly different optical designs, and but quite often with the similar size, they usually have a very similar optical designs. So it'd be interesting to see the actual blueprint to find out exactly what's going on. Hi New 7. How about the Sigma macro lenses? I want one for my Nikon D3500. Sigma macro lenses are good. They're good. I wouldn't say exceptional. If you really want high quality macro lenses, and I haven't personally had much experience about Nikon lenses, but I can say something about Canon. And if you really want the ultimate quality of macro lenses, it's better to go with the native macro lenses. And I can tell you that because they are better because they test it against their own cameras. Sigma is not, I'm not saying they're bad, but because they are made to adapt to different brands, so like they only use one formula, but they don't fine tune it for every single brand and every single mount. So like they are simply adapting to it. So it doesn't mean that they're bad lenses, but when it really depending on whether that particular design suits the system that you have. So I'm not saying they're bad, so you just have to try out to see. But if you really want ultimate quality, like I always say, even Olympus, go for the Olympus macro lens. Or if you want to do in Nikon, do the Nikon macro lenses. They're always going to be ever so slightly better, especially if you go for the professional grade lenses and the high end lenses. They are definitely the best. If you want to match it with your brand, Nikon, Canon, or whatever brand you use, and for that matter. So I will always suggest it to go for the native brand, and then that's much better in terms of image quality. Okay. Bobok is a 12 to 45 2.8. 12 to 40 2.8 or 12 to 45 f4. I think you're talking about 2.8. That means it's 12 to 40, not 45. And but yeah, that is cool lens. 2.8, like I said, is very the same. Yeah, you go. I found your answers there. Yeah, that's really good, dude. Really good. Let's see. Okay, nearly all there. I'm looking good. I'm looking good. School of Life. Hi, sir. I'm from Nepal. Wow. Cool. We reached Nepal. That's cool. How are you, mate? How are you? Hopefully you are enjoying where you are. And do you do a lot of photography there? And I think Nepal is a very good photogenic place. You can take a lot of photos there. Hopefully one day I'll go there. And I'm still hoping that one day I can travel to different places around the world and see all of you individually, and that will be really awesome. That will be my dream. Perhaps I may have to wait until my retirement days, and then I will be able to do that. But in the meantime, maybe I will be able to travel certain places, either for work or holiday. Maybe I can do a photo walk with some of you guys as a group, and that will be awesome. And that will be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm still looking forward to travel once again because I missed that. I really missed that. Michael Voy, hi everyone, 12 to 40 f2.8 Pro. Agree. Oh, Trevor, yes, that's it. The noise is coming from the computer notification. Yes, you are correct there. That little bubbly noise is every time there's a message, it just had that noise out. I can't switch off. I already switched off the sound. I don't know why it just keeps coming on. Maybe it's a program error. Eckhart Hoffman, hello. On the EM10 Mark II, the Panasonic 12 to 60 2.8 to f4 replaced the Ollie 12 to 50 and the Panf with the 12 to 45 f4 here. Ooh. So you have the 12 to 60 f2.8 to f4 Panasonic on the EM10, and in Pen F you have the 12 to 45 f4. The 12 to 45 f4 is really a perfect combo for the Pen F because the size, right? The size is so much smaller, and it just fits well with the Pen F body, and perhaps even the EM5 body as well, because the it just have the same kind of diameter that kind of flush with the bottom of the camera. So it's a very, very good fit, and that means it can slot into the camera bag, put it on the floor. Is everything just level, which is really cool. I like that. And that is why people underrated the 12 to 45 f4 Pro, because that is a very cool lens. And for those keep saying that, oh, it's only an f4, you know, like it's not that much cheaper than the 2.8. I keep saying every lens has their own audience, and also like it really depends on what sort of photography you use. If you do a lot of low light, if you want the greatest versatility in lighting condition, go for the 12 to 40 f2.8. But if you know what you're doing, if you're a landscape guy who always stop down to f8 anyway, why bother with the 2.8, right? If you can have the same quality, smaller, lighter, slightly cheaper, and f4 with the pro grade optics and weather seal body, go for the 12 to 45 f4 Pro. You know, like there's no denying that that is a really great lens as well. It may not have the 2.8 aperture, but it's not designed for people who gonna use 2.8 light gathering capabilities. It's designed for people who stop down, who are ultimately wanting that sharpness at stopping down. So for people who do traveling, to do a lot of landscape stuff, who require a lot of depth of field, this is the ultimate travel lens for that. So like that's why I think. That's why I'm starting to see a lot of people buying that lens now, because like I said, if you are using the lens a lot, you know your photography, you start to understand what you use, what you produce, you will find that that lens is actually something for me. You know, like I said, there's no right to wrong answers here. You know, everyone has their own preference. Like I said, you have all the rights to say the 12 to 40 2.8 is the best. You know, and that is cool. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I would say that 12 to 45 f4 is cool too. You know, like I tested it. I think it's a great lens. It's just not my lens because I need to shoot low light a lot. So that's why I need the 1.2. I don't even need 2.8. I need 1.2. So that's the same reason, right? You know, I can say the same thing about 2.8, but I don't, because it's still a good lens. Hartzel, and been trying to use the 45-1.8 for all, but more often than not end up really tight photograph. I don't often know it will be indoor. If it's too tight, I think then you need the 25, like wider lens. Like I said, this how you figure out, you know, whether it is a bit too tight, and especially indoor. I would say that indoor, because you're quite often in a very confined space, and if it is the case, and that means that you will need a very much wider lens. You know, sometimes may even be 17 1.2, sorry, 17 1.8 if you're 1.8 lenses, 17 1.8, or even like the 7 to 14 2.8. You know, like if space is an issue, and you definitely need to use a wider lens. That's why the 45 1.8 is something that I don't quite often use at wedding, because a lot of the time I shoot indoor, and I would not be able to utilize the great focal length of the 45, and it's just a bit too long for me. So I would just need to kind of widen it, need to use a wider lens, and hence the 17 1.2 is kind of my go-to lens for all kinds of situations, and for that matter. But the 45 is a really cool lens. You saw my review, saw my latest video. I talked about the 45 1.8. And I think it's a really, really awesome lens. Oh, it's at 10 a.m. Where are you based, Hatzel? Mother-in-law refuses getting it, and as it didn't take up yards to develop. All right. Okay, Kevin and Carson. Panasonic 15 versus Olympus 17 1.8 for video with GH4. Okay. If you use a GH4, I would possibly go with the Panasonic for the aperture ring. Actually, no, you said video. Okay, for video, Olympus 17 1.8 because of the manual clutch. And do you use a lot of manual focusing? If you do, the 17 1.8 will be a lifesaver for you, because the Panasonic has one of these horrible infinity ring that keep on spinning, and it's really hard to judge the focusing, and I find it impossible to focus with using manual focus. And I would guess GX4, because GX4 doesn't have the latest continuous AF focusing on the GX5 and the G9, and it's going to be really hard. So most likely you're going to be using manual focus. In that case, I think the 17-1.8 would be a better choice for you. I'm not selling brand Olympus to you, but it's only from a practical point of view, because for my video work, I do a lot of manual focusing, and I do a lot of focus racking. For that, I want the physical stop that Olympus lenses give me, because they basically just pull down, and you just have a proper physical stop, just like an old manual lens would have, and the 17-1.8 has that, so you can actually do proper focusing with that. So it's really, really cool. You should try that, and let me know how you get on with that one. That's it. The pink light has gone. Hey, pink light, let's go. Let's come back on. There we go. The pink light is on now. All right. You like the pink light? There we go. I just forgot to turn it on, and I just think that it's a little bit too much. I got two lights here. Maybe one day, once I properly set up here and I have a proper background light, and I'll be able to get some colors out. But at the moment, it's kind of right next to me. It's a little bit too bright for me. Maybe I'll turn it down a little bit. And oops. There we go. Just a little bit lighter, so it's not as pronounced. Calvin from Sebago. Oh, Sebago Lake in Maine. Oh, Maine. I just met some guy from Maine as well. That's cool. How are you, mate? How are you? Hopefully you're enjoying the live talk so far. I know it's a bit long. You know, I usually talk a lot, as you can see. And I'm a chatterbox when it comes to live stream, so I can talk about all kinds of stuff. Hard to just as to say. Oh, okay. I found something that is missing from movie S mode. It doesn't show the F number like it does in photo S mode. It's on the EM5 Mark III. Not sure if it's on others. Right. I need to test it for you, because I actually don't know myself, and only because I shoot manual. And for video making, I tend to use an ND filter a lot, and unless I need to change the depth of field, not so much about light gathering, about only if I want to change depth of field, then I use the aperture ring. And but I usually do it on manual anyway, so I would fix it to a certain shutter speed. Usually, you know, I shoot C24, so I would do 48 of a second frame rate, and then I would change the aperture accordingly. If I have an ND filter, I'll just use gradual ND filter to change the light intensity to the sensor. So that's kind of how I do things, and so I'm not entirely sure. I've never really tried S mode, so I'll check it. I'll let you know. I'm not entirely sure myself. Marsha, how are you? How are you? I've been waiting for quite a few million people have taken the vaccine. I'm in the elderly category, but I'm in no rush. Well, you know, it's still really early days. We only just have the vaccine signed off this morning. That's how I read it anyway. So I'm not entirely sure how the rollout is going to do. I know last week the government said that they're already starting to roll out different vaccine clinics. So they will be able to starting to vaccinate people as and when the vaccine is available. So now they signed it off. Doesn't mean it's there yet. They still have to manufacture, deliver, and to distribute to different clinics before people starting to go in to get vaccinated. So I'm hoping it'll be soon myself. You know, I really want to go out. I'm not joking. I'm like sitting home like a prison, you know, and it's hard for me. It's hard for my kids. You know, it's difficult for my health. I'm telling you. I found that. And yesterday I did go out for a photo shoot, and I was hired. God, thank God for one shoot. So I got hired last minute for a shoot yesterday. I went out. I found how unfit I was. You know, I was just walking around, and I'm starting to feel I have to catch my breath. You know, like, I now realize I just haven't been moving enough to get my fitness continuously, get my body working continuously. So I just need to. I think I need to start exercising again. I need to go out either cycling or running or do something. You know, it's bad. It's bad for people's health, for my kids as well. My kids are just not great, and they're staying home most of the time. We don't take them out because, we just, for safety's sake, just don't want to take them out to get anything back, horrible back. We don't want to do that, and because we still see grandparents, we still see people, so we don't want to pass it to them as well. I have to be considerate, and as well, I don't want to affect anybody else. Yeah, so this vaccine thing is going to be quite something, right? And I can't wait, really can't wait, and to really trying to start to see the world getting back together and to become normal again. You guys probably don't know a lot about our UK story as well. We have a lot of businesses closed down, especially the retail sector, service sectors, hospitality sectors. All these are really suffering, and I'm kind of falling to the travel industry in a way, because my business model is set up as to do all the affluent clients from abroad. That's my business model, and then I charge them when they come from abroad, and take portrait of them. I take holiday photos for them, and it's good business. It was good business for a few years, really good, until this year, because the travel industry just died. It's just non-existent. So I literally overnight I lost all my businesses, and then that's how it goes. I used to do weddings, but because of the travel model works better for me, so that's why I shifted my focus over there. And so wedding, but even if I stay in wedding, this year is not happening either. I mean, I still did about 2 weddings this year, but that was it. But wedding isn't really something that I like to focus on these days, because I have a lot other things going on. I do, like I said, I do videos for Olympus. I do video for my other clients. I do travel stuff that I just told you about, the portrait stuff for overseas clients. I have enough going on. I don't need weddings, and but having said that, I kind of enjoy that still, even because they got free food. Always like nice food in nice venues. I always like weddings, and always happy people. I like to surround it by happy people, and they're all good to me. And most of the time, I become friends with all my wedding clients, and they subsequently hire me back to do the baby photos when they have babies, and I start doing other things with them as a family photographer. It is actually pretty cool. I do enjoy that aspect of it. But business is business. I only have a pair of hands. I only have one brain. I can only do so much, right? So when you becoming overflowing with other things, and then you just simply can't take on as many weddings as I would like to. So these days I'm kind of have multiple disciplines, and as a hybrid, I shoot both videos and photo these days, and but I'm good. I'm still enjoying my photography, as you can tell, and that's why this channel still exists. But I'm starting to infiltrate a little, or not infiltrate. Why I'm talking about infiltrate? No, I'm starting to inject more video contents in here, like more about video stuff, what the video capabilities and the OMD cameras can do, because I know Olympus is finally making a move in the video world. So hopefully in the next few years we can start to see the impact, and so you guys will hear the same first-hand information from me. Because I work very closely with Olympus video department, so you will be able to see some really exciting stuff in the next few years. I'm still waiting for a lot of stuff, obviously, but then I know that they're pushing it, and that's good news for Olympus as a brand, as a product, because they need that. And these days there are more and more hybrid photographers coming out, and there are also more and more video guys coming out, and they are looking for something that is capable. I can tell you that Olympus are really great. Color science is top notch. You can't beat Olympus in terms of color science. You can't beat stabilization in Olympus cameras, and you can't beat the versatilities and ruggedness from Olympus camera. Really, you really have a really good system here. But what they are lacking is videos. They have good photography stuff already. All they need is just utilize the same processor, utilize the same system, and make it video viable. I know they can do it because Panasonic is there. They have the same sensor. That means they can do it. They need to tweak the system and allow video features to be injected into the actual camera body. And so I would like to see more different bit rates, different containers, different options you can choose. Now we have Apple ProRes, so that's one good step already straight away. And now they're working with other gimbal company. Remember one of my favorite gimbal company, didnt from China? The one that I used a lot, which I have it right here. That's the Weebiless that I use for filming. And they are now compatible with Olympus. So this is another good step. There's something that's happening behind the scene that many of you don't know. So it's really happening now. So I'm hoping that in the next few years, they will somehow catch some of the missing ground that they've been missing for the last 5, maybe even 10 years. So so hopefully that we will see some exciting video stuff coming out from Olympus. I truly hope so, because I'm making videos using Olympus cameras, and I do see that there will be something that I will be needing to use in the future, and I'm hoping that will be cool, right? You know, I'm pretty sure some of you guys will be excited as I am as well. Razil just got me a Billingham Polar. You mean a Billingham bag? What's a Polar? I got my Billingham. Where is my Billingham? Oh, it's right there, right over there. I love my Billingham. I'm a sucker for Billingham, you know. And for those who don't know me, I have a lot of story to tell in terms of Billingham bag, and you probably see my videos already on the Billingham 2020, you know, the blue bag that I got. I started my photography with Billingham bags, and then it's the very first proper camera bag that I ever had. And it's a really cool bag, good looking, rugged. Like I said, it's super rugged, and then it's almost indestructible, that bag. Although having said that, it got stolen, so like, you know, it was heartbreaking when my Billingham got stolen. But after that, I just gone crazy with it. You know, I started to make more money in photography. I started to buy more Billingham, and now I have a collection of Billingham bags. You know why my wife hates me now? You know, I'm not joking. My wife said that I get too many lenses, I have too many cameras, and have more camera bags than her shoes. How many bags do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Shit. I may have 24 bags in here. I have one in the box, not opened yet. Shit. Oh gosh. No. Don't kill me, my wife. Don't kill me, please. I have too many bags. I know. But I'll be a good boy. I'll be making you breakfast. Please, just let me have these bags and cameras and lenses. I'll be your servant for life. Oh no. Oh gosh. Oh man. John Mark, thank you. Congrats. I bet you are referring to my early announcement that I finally signed up as a new Olympus ambassador again. And so I have renewed my contract. That's very, very good. I really enjoying that. Mark Kirsten, greeting from Netherlands. Hello, I'm looking for a new lens for my M5 Mark II. I want to use it as a hiking backpack combo. With which weather sealer would you recommend as an all-round lens? Right. Okay. This back to what I was just telling you guys about. And then Mark, if you're doing hiking backpacking combo, I would think you can't go wrong with. There are 3 choices there, depending on whether you need the light gathering or the reach. This entirely up to you, because I don't know your photography. I don't know what sort of thing you would like to capture. But the 12 to 40 2.8 or the 12 to 100 f4 Pro, these 2 lenses are great choices for you. And they're very different lenses by default, even though they cover kind of similar focal lengths. But both are weather sealed. Both are, you know, have superb optics, you know, and really sharp. You can't really fault with it. And in terms of differences, obviously one is 2.8, the 12 to 40 is 2.8, and the 12 to 100 is f4. So you've got 2 stop difference there in terms of light. So if you do a lot of hiking, which means that you're going to mountains, most likely you're going to capture a lot of photo with lots of depth of field, right? You know, you're going to capture the whole scene in focus. You most likely going to stop down to 5.6 to f8 anyway. So in that case, perhaps the 12 to 100 f4 Pro might be for you, because it's got the flexibility there. You can get close, really close, or you can get wide. The 12 to 40, you can't get as close, but you get the 2.8 for better flexibility in different lighting situations. So if you want to capture something like, let's say astrophotography, you want to capture some northern light, you want a 2.8 rather than f4. And if you want to capture some villages that you go past at nighttime or like sunset, you may want to have the 2.8. And if you want to have some portrait that you want to take, if some of the strangers that you meet during your travel time, you want to have the really nice portrait with some sort of subject isolation, some bokeh, you may want to have the the 12 to 40 2.8, because 2.8 does allow you to have the subject separation quite well. So it really depending on what sort of thing you do. But I would say that these two lenses are good for the EM5 Mark II, even though the 12 to 100 may be a little bit too big for that camera, and it is quite a long lens and then quite a bit heavier. But if you want kind of like an all-in-one combo for a weather seal camera, you can't go wrong with these two. That would be my take. And so have a think about it, what sort of thing you do. I think that if you understand what I just said, and you probably would already kind of know what you want anyway. And so hopefully, and let me know how you get on if you do. And you can always direct message me or come back here on live and talk about it. And you can even join the See the World group on Facebook and share some photos that you take during your travel or hiking. And it'll be even better because I can see your photos as well. That would be cool. Oh, thank you guys, all the congratulations, and thank you Morgan and Chris. Yes, continuing. I know. I'm so happy, to be honest, and it's fantastic. You know, I'm gonna celebrate tonight. I'm gonna eat a bag of crisps. I mean, like chips, or whatever you call it in your country. And that's another thing, right? You know, British thing, we call it crisp, and then we in the state you call it potato chips, right? And it's hard for me to kind of talk about it. Hopefully you guys understand what crisps are, you know. And then we in England, in the UK, we call it crisps and not potato chips. But I like it. I like Doritos as well. I like naturals and stuff like that. So that would be my celebration tonight. I'm gonna eat a bag full and trying to stuff myself with it. Having said, I still have to do some B-rolls for Sunday's video. So and you guys have to stage. Come back, yeah. Sunday's video is gonna be cool, you know, and you guys have to watch it. Okay, Terry say, sorry, Terry, my two cameras are EM1 Mark II and Pan F3 f4 lives on the EM1 Mark II, 12 to 42 one lives on the Pan F. Well, kind of counts if you say that, Terry. And then since it's one lens and one camera, I guess you can. Depending on which camera you take, right? So I guess you're correct. Calvin, congratulations, you deserve it. Started the EM5 Mark II with the 12 to 100. You are the reason that I added the EM1 Mark III. Oh my God, was I a bad influence? By the sound of it, I clear your pocket. Thank you guys, thank you. I really appreciate all the comments. Thank you a lot. And hi there, eh? Oh, you just joined. Oh, you missed a big chunk of it. I'm good. Thank you very much for being here. And I also just announced that I have not resigned, but we have to continue my contract with Olympus, and so I will continue to be an ambassador for them in Europe for the foreseeable future. So that is a good news for me. And I literally just found out earlier this afternoon before this stream started. So it's really awesome. I also just signed it and then sent it back as well. So it's all good. So nice touch. Ralph, what about Panasonic 42.5 versus the 45 1.2 Zuiko? Ralph, I've made a video for that. You can see that in the channel. I actually compare these two very lenses with one of my mates who is a Nikon ambassador, and we did a street photography together using these two lenses. He was using the 42.5 Panasonic, I using 45 1.2. We compared the images, we looked at the bokeh, we looked at the sharpness, we looked at all sort of rendering issues, and you should watch that. It's really fun actually. It's quite a fun video. Yeah, I really enjoy that particular video because we did a lot of talk together before the video started, and so it's a fun comparison. Also looking at different images. They're very equal in a lot of ways, but it's more a personal choice at the end of the day because they are both great lenses. But the obvious difference between the two would be the actual rendering. So whether you prefer a more organic look or more a modern clinical look that is like really sharp and nothing sharp, or you have the nice smooth transition between sharp and unsharp, or focus to autofocus. So like, it really depends on what your preferences you are. But they are both great lenses, and I have nothing against any of them. Nothing. So watch that video, you find out exactly what I mean. And really, really cool stuff. Terry, I want a new updated Pen F with a new updated 17mm 1.8. I want that too. That's between you and me, because I don't know anything whether because someone just told me, right? Was it Burano? Someone told me something about the new Pen F from the JIP. So I'm not entirely sure whether that is true or not, but we shall see. Only time can tell, and can tell you that. Jimmy suffers some gas. I do, which is sad. And then I think it's a guy thing, eh? Is it a guy thing? Any ladies in this group now talking? You know, and can you let me know? Is it really a guy thing that who like gas stuff? You know, like gassing stuff, like buying stuff. I'm not entirely sure. Do women do that? I'm not entirely sure. My wife is not really a hoarder. You know, she doesn't like to buy a lot of stuff, but when she buys something, she really likes it. I mean, I like a lot of things, and that's why I keep buying them. And I just don't like one thing. I like lots of things. I keep buying lots of things, which is actually kind of sad. And I hope that I'm not a hoarder, but everything I buy has a value. You know, it's sentimental reasons. It's something good, and I know I can resell them as well. So that's another thing. But at the moment, I'm collecting them. Maybe just a bit too much. Maybe just a bit too much. Just don't tell my wife about it. Okay, Zaktochi, and one lens combo I use, Voigtlander 17.5 for micro four third, and Summicron. Whoo, you got a Summicron 35 spherical. That is a exceptional lens you got there for full frame. That's really good. Which version have you got? Is you got the latest version or the older version? Because there are different versions there, but all of them are pretty cool, especially spherical versions. And they are all pretty awesome lenses. They're quite tiny as well for what it is. I don't have the Summicron. I have the Summilux before, which I sold, and I got the Distagon, which is actually equivalently good and cheaper but good. I would love to see Jimmy review of the Panasonic 10 to 25 1.7. Oh, really? You want to see that? I have to hire it though, you know, it costs me money to hire it. And because I don't have access to any Panasonic lenses. The one that I reviewed was actually the one that I owned before I sold it and got the Olympus equivalent. And maybe one day, like I said, never say never. Hopefully I will have some friends who have that lens. I can borrow it for a weekend just to test it out. And yeah, that will be awesome. And hopefully I make more money from this channel, and I will be able to afford to actually rent a lens to come back and to actually do some testing on. And Philo Martin 1 MG Core 25 1.2. Yeah, mate. Yes. I have it right here. Perfect lens. This is a really great lens. I love it to bits. And but like I said, my favorite is still the 17 1.2. But you have your favorite. I respect that, and it's a really good lens as well, which is also one of the first lenses I've ever owned in the Olympus Pro world. John Temple. I use the Pen F with the 17 for street photography. In my pack, I carry my 45mm both Olympus lenses. See, the Pen F plus the 17 is a really small combo, and you add the 45 1.8 combo, you can really fit it into a very small bag. Like this one, like the Cozy Speed Street Tomatic, really cool, yeah, really small. And I do have my Pen F in there. But I don't have the, I have a different lens in here. I have the really cool Laowa 7.5 f2, and yeah, really ultra wide. This one, why is it on here? Because I was actually doing some projects earlier in the year to do some ultra wide shots and ultra wide street shots. So that's why I have this on the Pen F, kind of permanently stuck to it now. And because of that project, so I hope that will continue in the new year. And once I have the vaccine, I'll be able to go out safely, and I'll be able to do that again. And John, hello. What is the best camera for a YouTuber starting out? John, you want something that perhaps with good face tracking, continuous face tracking. So any cameras that with that kind of thing is pretty good, because you are most likely doing it yourself, like what I'm doing, like most YouTubers are doing. They are filming themselves. So the old days where you have to manual focus something, prefix a focus link, focus is gone now. So everything is quite reliable these days in terms of autofocus. So I would choose anything that with good face or face detection and continuous focus tracking on the camera. In the Olympus world, I would say that at the moment you can use either the EM5 Mark III, the EM1 Mark III. These two are really good, or EM1 Mark II for that matter, because the EM5 Mark III and the EM1 Mark II are basically the same camera. Just one is super tiny, one is bigger and more rugged built. But the the EM1 Mark III is a more superior camera in terms of facial tracking in video terms. Even though the Olympus didn't really say that, but it's just how I found out, and it is actually slightly better. But unless you want to go for the big gun like the EM1X, which is actually pretty cool as well. But the EM1 Mark III has the best facial tracking at the moment, and it does lock onto your face quite well. You know, the reason I tell you that you need that, because you can, first of all, you know, at the moment the autofocus is doing the trick at the moment, the magic. It's recognizing my face. I can see the square highlighting my face now on the screen, and I can do a lot of these stuff as well. You know, like I could just basically point it to the camera and let sorry, the focusing point is actually focusing on here on the side, because I kind of turn it a little bit on the side, so I can do that automatically. I don't have to worry about it too much, and it just kind of track back to my face again. And so you want a little bit automations there, and you can kind of want a reliable system to do. You don't want it to have the focus drift in and out. And in terms of video capabilities, and I know that a lot of die-hard video guys will probably think, oh, you go for Panasonic, go for Sony and things like that. Yes, but if you're just starting on YouTubers, and those will be definitely overwhelming options. And if you don't know what frame rate is, if you don't know what a lot of video options is, bit rates, all the other stuff, you don't need all that. And to be quite honest, most videos that's on YouTube only require very simple setup. You don't need anything more than a simple camera that can actually take a videos. So that's cool, and Olympus definitely way more than enough for that matter. So the only thing that I would need in terms of YouTubing is one that has mic input and facial tracking. Because mic input, you need good audio, yeah? You need really good audio to accompany you. So when you do vlogging, you can plug in a dedicated mic, whether it's going to be a gun mic or a lav mic, and you can do that, and you can have great audios, great image quality, good tracking, so you always stay in focus, and it's portability, right? You know, if you want to do outside, you do run and gun, you want something small and light, and Micro Four Thirds, I think, really is the best YouTube camera you can have. You know, there are lots of people out there, you know, using full frame this, full frame that. I think they are just a little bit too intrusive, you know, especially in places like England, for instance. You know, we have a lot of restrictions in a lot of private properties. When they see bigger cameras, they don't like it. And then, and when I use a smaller EM5, if I know that I'm going to somewhere this a little bit sensitive, I use this. They think that it's a toy. They don't really bother me, you know. And I don't use a gun mic either. I just use a lav mic. I just put a wireless the Rode wireless Go on top of it, because it's small and tiny. Hooked on my wireless mic. They don't even know that I'm vlogging. They don't even know that I'm doing things. They just think I'm a tourist, you know, and just talk about shit. So, John, I think that I kind of give you some pointers there, and so which camera system is up to you entirely, ultimately. But I would say that Micro Four Thirds is pretty good for starting up as a YouTuber. There are obviously other more expensive, bigger system out there, but I think they're definitely overkill for YouTube. You're never going to see the quality that coming out from it, and because YouTube are heavily compressed anyway, and you're not going to see like proper cool 4K stuff, and so yeah, just make your choice, work it out. You know, you can try it out as well. You know, the Micro Four Thirds system are not exactly that expensive, so you can try a few options there. Once you grow, if you do think that you need better, bigger system, then you go for it. But for me, I've been doing YouTube for a few years now, and I've never said that that's more that I need at the moment, to be quite honest. And I'm able to go out quite enjoying myself, lightweight, you know, shove it in a little bag, and then I can just go out and do my things. And no one bothers me really, so that is really awesome. For that, I think is cool. So hopefully I answered your question, and If you do have any other question, please do feel free to ask me. Richard, you have a very rare lens, the 40 to 1.4, which is the pen lens, right? The original Zuiko pen lens for the pen F original film cameras, and that is a very good lens. That is the 41.4, very vintage looking lens as well. Oh, I don't understand a word of it. What are you talking about? But hi anyway. Try the blue. Try the blue. Okay, I'm still catching up. Sorry, Ralph. Blue. Okay. Blue. I have the blue. Look at that's the blue now. You can't really see the blue though. That's a problem. I think. Let me try. Oh, that's a blue. More blue. Okay, that's more blue. Yeah, you can kind of see the blue. How are those push-ups? Not well. I kind of stopped that. I need to get back to it. Thanks for that. I prefer the M mode. Yeah, no, if you get any more problems, then let me know. I will try the S mode for you though, just to see how it goes. Right, I just skip through now because it's been running over 2 hours. So sorry, I might have missed some of the comments, but I'm gonna try to skip through some of them and trying to wrap up today's session. Hopefully you enjoyed it though. And I really, like I said, I always enjoy my Wednesdays because I can chat to all of you. You know, like it's a very interactive thing to do, and it's a fun thing as well. I kind of really find it fun to do that. And hopefully, by the way, if any of you want to see me interviewing another person, let me know. And I know I did something with Peter Forsgard way back, but I haven't actually continued the interview series. Maybe some of you guys want to see it, and I will maybe try to organize some of them to be on the show, in this live stream where we can talk about all things photography, Michael Four Third, or any other things. Let me know in the comment sections, and to see whether you guys want to see something like that. And also, I don't know how many of you want me to do some photo critiques as well. And something I've been asked this morning, not this morning, yesterday. I think yesterday they said that I should do more educational stuff. Right, I do want to, and that's a very true, frank answer for me. I do really want to do that, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I would say that at the moment my priority is trying to build the channel up, and I know that educational stuff is cool. I personally would like to teach you a lot of stuff, but I know that a lot of the times when I do an educational videos, the view count's just not there, and if I'm starting to lose views, unfortunately YouTube's algorithm would not recommend my videos, and that is my dilemma there. You know, like I want the channel to grow, but if you keep doing educational stuff, my channel growth will suffer ultimately, and then it's kind of like a chicken and egg. You know, I want to do it, but I can't do it at the same time. Maybe perhaps in the future, once the channel is settled, becoming bigger and stronger, then I'm starting to do more educational stuff. But in life, it's cool. I mean, I can talk about photos. I can talk about things. So if you guys want to do that, let me know. And then I will probably start to set up some tasks, maybe something that you would like to do together, and I can looking at your photo, talking about photo that you would how you can improve certain things. If you guys do not mind me criticizing your photos, I'm very happy to do it. And like I said, I'm only coming from a very non-biased, very technical side of it, and to trying to get you into a level that you can be appreciated by many more photographers, and maybe even going to competitions and things like that. And let me know whether you would like to do that, and I'll hopefully I can do something like that. So let's continue something and just wrap it up today. And Yusuf, hello there. Jimmy, what is your view on the move from Olympus to JIP? Will the brand and future roadmap be affected? Not as I know of. I know Olympus is going to continue. Well, the brand is going to continue, and the product roadmaps stay the same until that roadmap finishes as of Olympus last set it. So I believe the roadmap is going to continue with the new company, but in short term, in the next 2 years, all the products are already in place. So that will be. I wouldn't say I would worry about it. So that should be okay. So in the future, like I said, no one can see what the future holds. But at the moment, I see that the roadmap will continue, so you don't have to worry about future models, at least for 2 years. So that would be my take on it. And so you're going to still see new stuff coming out next year. I know that new lenses are coming out. New cameras going to come out next year. I don't know what yet, but lenses already know that there'll be a couple of them coming. So that will be quite exciting in 2021 for Olympus fanboys. Ricky, how are you? And I know, mate. I know, over 2 hours already. I know. I need to shut up. Okay, right. Guys, any more questions before I wrap up and say goodbye? And I'm trying to read the last few messages now. You guys been so great. Thank you very much for you guys. And you guys typed so much as well. Sorry I couldn't answer every single one of them, but I know that. Well, you know how my live stream works anyway. You know, it's always like this. And but it's fun. Hopefully, it's fun for you as well. It's fun for me, definitely. So by the way, guys, remember the See the World competition is definitely still on until the end of December. So you still have 3.5 weeks to enter the competition. You have some great prizes coming. And also, I'm going to have a really cool videos this Sunday. There will be a free giveaway. I'm already giving away now, but you have to watch it to find out exactly what it is. So so stay tuned for my Sunday video. Hopefully I'll make it in time, and because I'm still waiting for a couple of things to come before I can finish that videos off. Then next Tuesday, I'm still thinking what I'm gonna do, but I will let you know in the meantime, and if not, I will see what happens. But until next time, thank you very much for joining me for my very popular Wednesday coffee with Jimmy Cheng. I still have my coffee. It's completely cold now. And hopefully you enjoy yourself and enjoy your day wherever you are. Enjoy whatever you're doing. So if I don't see you in the next few days on my Facebook or any other social media platform, I'll see you next week, next Wednesday. If you've got anything else, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.